Big Ben and the Steelers, it being his throwing elbow. I mean, either Ben got rejuvenated watching the season, not being able to play, or it kind of creeps in your mind about, putting in the work each and every day, it gets tiring. I saw an interview with Drew Brees, and he said, I'm going to take another month or so because it's exhausting, the mental preparation, the physical preparation. Like, people don't understand the mental stress that you have playing this sport. And, of course, everyone looks at the money, and that's great, and we're thankful for that. But it's the time in every day to prepare to stay on top of your game. And it's not easy. That's why I have so much respect for Drew Brees that's been doing it at a high level for so long.
Bruce Gradkowski joining us here on Fox Sports Radio, former NFL quarterback, analyst for Pro Football Focus. Always kind enough to spend a few minutes with us here on Fox Sports Radio. Jonas Knox here on FSR with you. You played with Troy Polamalu. It was announced a short time ago. He is into the Hall of Fame. First ballot. Troy Polamalu, your former teammate, is now a Hall of Famer. What stands out to you the most about competing against Troy Polamalu, whether it be in practice or your time in Pittsburgh?
My initial thought, first and foremost, is the guy off the field, the guy in the locker room, the humble, like this quiet talker, that just really genuine type of person he is. I couldn't be happier for, because I love when you meet a superstar, play with a superstar with unbelievable talent and credentials, and he is more humble off the field than you could ever imagine. And that's Troy Polamalu. And so it was an honor to play with him, watch him prepare, and watch him on game days, just the knack he had for making plays. So, man, I thought that was a no-brainer for sure. But congratulations to him. And it was an honor for me to be able to play with him. But the thing that impressed me the most, like I said, and I can't say it enough, is just the kind of guy he is off the field. So that's super well-deserving.
All right, so Bruce Gradkowski, Super Bowl coming up tomorrow. Most important matchup, the one that you think decides the game between San Fran and Kansas City, is what?
I think it's Mahomes against the Niners defense. And can they contain him in that pocket and not let him get out and make those extraordinary plays that he makes? Look, he's going to make his plays. If I'm Robert Saleh, that's what I'm saying. Look, this guy's going to make plays. He's the best guy on the field right now. So let's just try to bottle him up and contain him a little bit. And at the end of the day, let's make more plays than he does. And I think I'm interested to see how the Niners defense plays him, if that front four can get pressure on him and after him. And you give Andy Reid and Kyle Shanahan an extra week to prepare for a game. I can't wait to see the offensive schematics that are going to go into this game. And then on the flip side, I know I'm talking quarterback, but Jimmy G. I liked Jimmy G during this year. I graded every pass, and I thought he did a good job in New Orleans, coming from behind and making key plays in key moments, and that's what he has to do on Sunday. I think they're going to be able to run the ball, but he's got to make some big-time throws downfield, key situations, third down, red zone, and protect the football. I think the biggest thing for the Niners is defensively stopping Mahomes and offensively protect that football and make some plays.
Well, listen, I'm not trying to put any pressure on Bruce Gradkowski, but there are degenerate flunky gamblers across the country, and their kids, their kids' allowance, their mortgage, the electric bill, they're all riding on who Bruce Gradkowski likes in Super Bowl 54. Who's your pick?
I'm taking the Niners. I think they're the more complete team, and I think they pull it out. I do.
There he is. Bruce, awesome meeting you, man, finally in person. It was good times getting to catch up with you, and always appreciate you spending a few minutes with us here on Fox Sports Radio, man.
Yeah, thanks, my man. Who do you got tomorrow? Who are you going to pick?
I started out with the 49ers. I got seduced by the Chiefs and their offense last week, and then just spending time around people in Miami, I'm starting to lean back towards San Francisco. Because of the 2 weeks in between, I've literally gone back and forth, but I'm starting to lean, although I do find myself rooting for Andy Reid. I would love to see Andy Reid get one. It just feels like it's never not worked. The team that runs the football and plays the best defense usually always wins in the matchup against a high-powered offense. So I'm starting to lean back towards San Francisco.
Yeah, no, and it's tough, too, because when you say San Fran, then you think, oh, wait, they are playing against number 15. I can't forget that. But I do think the Niners pull it out, and I'm excited to watch this one.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Bruce, thanks so much, man. We'll do it again next week.
All right, my man. Have a good week.
There he is, Bruce Gradkowski, former NFL quarterback, now an analyst for Pro Football Focus, and also a big fan of the cafecito, I think they call it in Miami, the Cuban coffee, which is basically, espresso with like a pound of sugar in between. And they just mix it up. And I actually took a video of how they put it together. It's unbelievable. I mean, you talk about a little something. Sam, you are a knob. This is the worst song that's ever played on Fox Sports Radio. All right. Coming up next, we've got another edition of the Prop Bet Monsters here on Fox Sports Radio. But before all of that, show this man the respect that he is owed. And if you don't, he'll rip it from your cold, dead hands. And his name is Kevin Figures.
Thank you, Jonas, for that spectacular intro. And he's right, people, by the way. Don't cross me. Remember they would lick the heads of people sitting in the front row? Yes, they would grab their heads and start licking it. I believe I was talking about the Bushwhackers back in the day. Thank you, Iowa Sam.
Yeah, the Bushwhackers. Pro wrestler or porn star,
yes.
Kev. Yeah, very well done.
From the Hall of Fame archives. I love it. Sam, what does you have in there? I'll start by letting you know. I can only imagine. We'll let you know that you can watch the NFL Awards ceremony tonight at 8 Eastern Time on Fox. I'll mention a few of the award winners, including Offensive Player of the Year, in just a minute. But first things first, yourself and Bruce Gradkowski were just talking about inductions into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. The class does include Troy Polamalu, who we mentioned, as well as Steve Atwater of the Denver Broncos, running back Edgerrin James, offensive lineman Steve Hutchinson, and receiver Isaac Bruce. Some college basketball from earlier. Third-ranked Kansas held off a late Texas Tech rally for a 3-point victory. Top-ranked Baylor steamrolled TCU. Second-ranked Gonzaga overcame a double-digit deficit. They beat San Francisco. As far as games in progress at the moment, the only game today that features two ranked opponents is in the SEC. 17th-ranked Auburn currently leading number 13 Kentucky 14. It's actually trailing now. Kentucky is up 15-14 early in the first half. Late first half, Oregon with a 25-21 lead over Stanford there in the Pac-12. As far as some of those NFL award winners, New Orleans Saints receiver Michael Thomas won the award for Offensive Player of the Year. Nick Bosa won Defensive Rookie of the Year. Stephon Gilmore won Defensive Player of the Year for the Patriots. And Kyler Murray won Offensive Rookie of the Year from the Arizona Cardinals. We'll get back to Jonas Knox in 10 seconds, but first a word from Farmers.
Bundle home and auto with Farmers Insurance, and you could save an average of 20%. We know a thing or two about how to save a buck or two. Call 1-800-FARMERS to get a quote today.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Reported 2018 nationwide average savings underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
Back to Jonas Knox.
Thanks, Kev. We've got the next installment of the Prop Bet Monster coming up here in about 10 minutes from now on Fox Sports Radio. We do need to update a conversation we were having earlier in the show. For whatever reason, Iowa Sam, our technical producer, who reveals a new secret about himself every single week here on the show, he revealed earlier when one of the prop bets was whether or not Pitbull will be performing during halftime of the Super Bowl at some point. Sam blurted out that he loves Pitbull. Loves him. Like I did not picture that. I assume that would not ever be part of the conversation here. So we threw out, all right, has Pitbull ever been to the state of Iowa? Somebody found an article to send it over that Pitbull has actually performed in the state of Iowa, in Des Moines. Now, here's the other breaking and developing situation involving this story.
I like Pitbull.
Sam, you...
That's a drop now.
I know.
Thank the maker.
It sounds like an 11-year-old outside the arena.
I like Pitbull.
Concert. So, Sam, you mentioned that your sister took a picture with Pitbull in New York City.
Yeah, this was back in maybe 2010, 2011.
All right. You've tweeted that picture out.
I did, yes.
All right. So, at IowaSam99.
At IowaSam99. All right.
Here's why you need to go check this out. I believe this is the first ever photograph of Pitbull without sunglasses on.
It could be.
I'm not kidding.
He looks like a regular Joe, doesn't he?
Does.
It's very true.
He looks like a nice guy.
He looks like Bruce Gradkowski.
A little bit, yeah.
I swear to God, I don't recall ever seeing Pitbull without his glasses on. It's like seeing, a lucha libre like Rey Mysterio Jr. without his mask.
Right.
I know.
Doesn't seem right.
When would that ever happen? Kev, have you ever seen Pitbull without his glasses?
Not once. Not a single time. That is unreal.
This is unbelievable.
I'm sure you could find one online, a picture of him without sunglasses.
Yeah, we're looking at it. It's your sister.
Yeah.
It's your sister sitting next to him.
You may just broke the internet. You just broke Twitter, Sam. Wow. This is the first time we're actually seeing Pitbull without his shades on.
I feel so honored.
Again, if you want to see what Pitbull looks like without sunglasses, at IowaSam99. And in order, and listen, because his Twitter account is it's different. You have to follow him in order to look at the picture. So you must follow at IowaSam99 in order to see Pitbull without his sunglasses on. I mean, I don't know if he has eyebrows. I mean, this is a developing situation here on Fox Sports Radio.
Maybe the sunglasses were to cover up the fact he doesn't have eyebrows.
I don't know. I mean, like, I for a second there, I thought your sister was standing next to that kid from the movie Powder. Like, I had no idea. I had no idea what was happening there. But
it's like one of those like Superman, like he's Clark Kent, but when he takes off the glasses, oh, you're Superman. It's the reverse for Pitbull. When he's walking down the street, it's like, oh, you're just a regular Joe. No, I'm Pitbull.
I'm stunned.
Put on the shades. Oh, you are Pitbull.
So he was a nice guy.
Yeah, they said he was nice. He was very. From what I hear, he's good to his fans. And he's good to people out on the street.
Unbelievable. And so there you are. There's your guy. So if you want to see the first ever documented picture of Pitbull without sunglasses on, at IowaSam99.
I like Pitbull.
Iowa, are you jealous that your sister was able to meet him and you were not?
Listen, I'm not like a diehard fan of Pitbull. I enjoy a couple of his songs. If they come on at the club, which I never go to a club, if it comes on at the club, I'll get my dance on a little bit.
Yeah, I wouldn't imagine that Pitbull would appear at any of the speakeasy IPA bars you go to around Los Angeles.
Yeah, the holes in the wall that I frequent. But, I don't know. There's a lot of music out there I don't like, and I'll admit it.
Yeah. But when it comes,
I like Pitbull.
But there it is. By the way, that'll be here for the rest of time. That's fine. All right. Jonas Knox here on Fox Sports Radio, coming to you live from the Geico Fox Sports Radio studios, where it's easy to save 15% or more on car insurance with Geico. Go to geico.com or call 800-947-AUTO. The only hard part, figuring out which way is easier. Up next, we will take another installment of the prop bet monster here on FSR. Nothing but prop bets for Super Bowl 54. Don't go anywhere. It's yours here on FSR.
I like Pitbull.
Go! During the big game.
Let's go! Get him going!
Interact with us on social media.
You have to do it!
You can find us on Instagram and on Twitter by searching Fox Sports Radio. Fox Sports Radio. That's Fox Sports Radio on Instagram and Twitter.
Hey, it's Ben Maller. Do you own or rent a home? Of course you do. I know you do. And I bet it can be hard work. You know what's easy? Bundling policies with Geico. Geico makes it easy to bundle your homeowners or renters insurance along with your auto policy. It's a good thing, too. Why? Because you already have so much to do around your home. Go to geico.com, get a quote, and see how much you could save. It's Geico easy. Visit geico.com today. That's geico.com.
I'm Chris Riccobono, founder of Untuck It. I started Untuck It because, like a lot of other guys, I just couldn't find a shirt that looked great untucked. That's why we created the perfect untucked shirt with that just right length. We have over 50 fits for all shapes and sizes, so you can look sharp even at your most casual. Try the original Untucked shirt at one of 85 Untuck It stores worldwide or at untuckit.com. Untuck It, shirts designed to be worn untucked.
Use promo code WINTER for 20% off your first purchase. That's promo code WINTER.
At Jason's Deli, you can stuff yourself full of great deli food that's healthy, fresh, and best of all, it's not expensive. Jason's Deli is all about choice. Whether you're looking for a gluten-free menu, vegetarian sandwiches, healthy kids' meals, or if you'd like to invent your sandwich via the build-your-own selections, Jason's Deli has you covered. And they only use fresh, wholesome ingredients. Choose from the club and specialty sandwiches, paninis, wraps, soups, salads, pastas, and much more. I love the cleanliness in the restaurant, the hospitality, and of course the cost. They have a huge salad bar and great soups, including Southwest chicken chili, fire-roasted tortilla, organic vegetable, tomato basil, and many, many more. And if you're planning an event, their catering department is fantastic and can handle any size party. Go check out Jason's Deli's 4 locations. On Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, that's my favorite, on Germantown Parkway in Cordova, at Poplar and Highland, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch.
This Valentine's Day, show her just how much you love her. Say it with Central Barbecue. Say it with ribs.
What are you doing?
I was thinking we could play on their heartstrings.
Say it with ribs?
Yeah, I think Central Barbecue should do like Valentine's stuff. Like a Be Mine brisket or Cuddle Me coleslaw.
Did you just get these off of Candy Hearts?
Where I get my inspiration is not important.
Why not just do your job and tell people to go to Central Barbecue?
That's what I'm doing, just with a romantic twist.
No twisting. Just sell Central Barbecue.
Hug me jalapeno nachos. Kiss me kielbasa.
Just stop. Just tell them to go to Central Barbecue.
You have no soul.
Bases loaded here at the top of the ninth. And the pitch. And it's out of here!
We deliver baseball caps, mitts, and everything you need to get ready for the game. But what you really get when FedEx knocks on your door is so much more.
FedEx Delivery.
Game day spirit. What we deliver by delivering.
Hi, this is Troy Five-Ash, owner of Five-Ash Roofing. It is that time of year where the weather is unpredictable, and given the recent storms, it's a good time to discuss insurance claims. So here's a few things you should know. Always hire a local contractor, because if you have a problem with your roof down the road, you want to be able to find him. Never allow anyone to pressure you into signing a contingency contract. They're used as sales tools, making you feel committed, and the truth is, those contracts are not worth the paper they're written on. Be careful of door-knocking salesmen. Some are reputable, but many are not. They canvass the neighborhood and tell everyone to file a claim, working their percentages and not caring if you file a claim even when they know the likelihood of it being approved is low. Some will even damage your roof hoping to convince the adjuster it's storm damage. That's fraud, and contractors have gone to jail for that. So do your research and know who you're hiring. Five-Ash Roofing, the official roof of the University of Memphis Athletic Department. Fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
As a small business owner, you're always on the go. So how can you make sure you never miss a customer's call? Grasshopper. With Grasshopper, you get all the features of a business phone system. That's right, Grasshopper turns your cell phone into a business phone system that's affordable and incredibly easy to use. Get a toll-free or vanity phone number that's memorable and professional. Customers are forwarded to your phone and connected to you or your team wherever you are. And with our app, your outgoing calls and texts show up as your professional phone number. We'll transcribe your voicemails and send them to your email so you can determine their importance at a glance. So whether you're always on the go or working from home and need to keep business calls separate, or you simply want a professional tone, Grasshopper makes it happen. Set up your account in just minutes. There are no long-term contracts and support is 24/7. Get your calls, stay connected, thrive. Now get $20 off your plan when you visit grasshopper.com/radio. Grasshopper.com/radio.
There are so many ways that you can get this talent. There's radio.
You can stick with us on radio.
Podcast.
Everything you hear, we podcast it.
Streaming.
Listen on demand anytime you want.
YouTube.
And don't forget,
Twitter at Fox Sports Radio.
Got some tweets I want to get to.
Oh, there's Asking Alexa or Google Play.
So blame it on that damn social media.
There's so many ways.
I feel like Oprah. You get the show. You get the show. You get the show.
We're audio and we're all over the place.
We're all set.
We're Fox Sports Radio. Day.
FS1.
To find FS1 on your television, go to foxsports.com for details. FS1.
Jonas Knox here on Fox Sports Radio. Coming to you live from the Geico Fox Sports Radio studios. Coming up in a little over 10 minutes from now here on FSR. There's one team involved in this year's Super Bowl I think has got a little bit more momentum behind them than the other. And I'll tell you who that is 10 minutes from now here on Fox Sports Radio. By the way, I don't think I shared this on the air. One of the nights I was in Miami for the Super Bowl, I just kind of went out by myself and cruised around, went down Ocean Drive, went to the Clevelander, and just standing there at the bar, having a Bud Light. Literally, not talking to anybody. I don't know anybody there. Just by myself. Guy walks up to me and says, "Hey, man, you got any connections for some cocaine?" And I just to see where the conversation was going to go, I almost wanted to say absolutely. Absolutely. I was going to give him Lee's number and have him contact Lee. Let's
ask Lee.
I mean, at some point, I'm looking at the guy like, no, man, no, I'm sorry. I'm drinking a Bud Light, where the tip's included in the tab for some reason in Miami. I just wanted to get out and see the ocean. I'm not a snowblower, for Christ's sakes.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Apparently, people are asking about it all the time down there. All right. So from that level of degenerate behavior to this level of degenerate behavior.
Here to feed your degenerate gambling soul. The Prop Bet Monster.
All right, so here we go. We've been doing it all show long, every single hour, a different batch of prop bets for Super Bowl 54. Lee DeLapp and I will be on the post-Super Bowl coverage here on Fox Sports Radio, so we'll see how we do. All right, so Lee, what do we got this hour?
All right, Jonas. Jersey number of the first touchdown scorer tomorrow. Over 26.5 is at plus 115, and under 26.5 is minus 139.
Okay, hold on a second. Let me... How do people come up with this crap? All right, so the jersey number over 26.5 is plus, okay.
Plus 115.
All right, now, and so that's whoever scores. So let's think about it.
Touchdown scorer, by the way.
Patrick Mahomes, Garoppolo, Tyreek Hill's number 10, Deebo Samuel is 19. Wow, this is more difficult than I thought. I will take the over. I'm looking at Kelsey or Kittle. I'll take the over. I'll take the over of 26.5.
All right. Do you think Drake is going to put a curse on one of these teams on Instagram? Yes, 10-13. No, 1-1.
Isn't that curse over with? Because Toronto won the championship. That's not a real thing now, is it? And who would he even be seen pictured with? Like, who is there? Does he have a relationship with somebody on these teams? Like, is there a Canadian on any one of these teams? Let's go live to our I know all about Drake's curse insider, Kevin Figures, for the latest. Kev?
Yeah, as far as I know, the curse is over, although I do believe he sent out a tweet supporting the Philadelphia Eagles when they made it into the playoffs, and that lasted long. So there are a lot of Eagle fans who said, no, please.
I'm trying to think, is there a correlation with somebody that he would know on either of these teams?
Well, he's a front runner, and Patrick Mahomes is one of the better players in the NFL, so maybe they're boys at some point, and maybe they've been seen together at a club. And if there was someone that I think he would be buddy-buddy with, it would be Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah. And so what is it, Lee? Is it just yes or no?
Yeah, yes is 10-13, no is 1-1.
I'll say no. I'm going to say no.
All right. Length of the word brave in the national anthem, over under 5.5 seconds.
Seriously?
That's a big one.
Seriously?
That's a big one.
By the way, Iowa Sam just adamantly pointing down to his crotch for some reason. What were you doing there?
I was saying under with my hands.
Oh, okay. You
under the table.
You look like you pointed to your crotch.
Under the
table. To be discussed on the air.
I would take the under on that, personally.
Brave from Demi Lovato?
I think 5 seconds, that's a long brave.
But this is like her big spot.
Yep. This
is her first big moment. I think I'm going to take the over, Lee. 5.5. I'll take the over of 5.5, which is the first time in my life I've ever been over 5.5.
All right. All right, I got to give you this one, Jonas. Color of the Gatorade that's coming out at the end of the game. Purple's plus 115, red.
Purple. Don't even need. I don't need the other options. Do you know this line we were talking about on Straight Outta Vegas? It was at 13-1. And 2 days later was even money because it's going to be a tribute to Kobe Bryant. So how about that? So yeah, I'm going to go with Purple Gatorade as my pick in there. And that is this hour's installment of the Prop Bet Monster. We've got more next hour here on FSR.
We are Fox Sports!
Hi, I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans. 30% of Americans who are planning home improvements of $5,000 or more will pay for those renovations with a high-interest credit card. That may not be a great idea. A better idea may be to take cash out of your home with a Quicken Loans 30-year fixed-rate mortgage. The rate today on our 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 3.99%. APR 4.23%. Call us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com.
Rates subject to change. Pay 2% fee to receive this discounted rate. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
Excuse me, Captain. This is your wake-up call from the new TracFone Wireless.
What's that now?
What if you had to fly this plane while sitting back in the cabin?
I wouldn't have any control.
Well, that's what it's like going with some wireless companies, but TracFone Wireless gives you control. Get unlimited talk and text on America's best 4G LTE network starting at $20 a month, no contract. Plus, unlimited carryover data with active service.
That's cool, but how'd you get in my cockpit?
This is your wake-up call, people. The new TracFone Wireless. Now you're in control. Available at major retailers. See terms and conditions at Track.
You've heard of James Gaddis Jewelers, but have you heard what they've done lately? Everything, a tremendous selection of diamonds and jewels and gold and silver and more. Lots of watches, tons of custom-made jewelry, diamonds, fine gemstones, bracelets, necklaces, so many choices. Romantics will love the one-of-a-kind estate and vintage jewelry. James Gaddis has experts in wedding and engagement rings, plus 2 repair experts for fine watches and jewelry. Layaway and financing available. Make this Valentine's Day unforgettable with a gift from James Gaddis Jewelers, 4900 Poplar.
Head on over to Frontier Western Store for their famous February sale. This is Frontier's biggest sale of the year, and it is the time to save big on boots and apparel. All men's jeans are now on sale. Ariat denim $10 off. Wrangler and Carhartt pants $5 off. Select styles marked down even more, up to half price. There's huge savings on Carhartt shirts as well. Select clearance shirts and outerwear up to 50% off. Ariat shirts and jackets discounted as well. Hurry in for best selections. Women's t-shirts by Simply Southern, Girly Girl, and Puppy Love as low as $10. Frontier has markdowns in the boot room as well. Hundreds of boots by Double H, Rocky, Durango, and Ariat. Now priced to move to make room for new spring arrivals. Stop by Frontier today and grab your next pair of dress or work boots. It's the famous February sale at Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch, and on the web at frontierwesternstore.com. Family owned and operated since 1967.
There's a new commissary in town in Collierville. Germantown Commissary is doubling. Yeah, they're still going to have the old Germantown Commissary by the tracks, but now there's a huge new Germantown Commissary in Collierville at Poplar and Houston Levee Road. It's huge, too. There's a drive-through. There's plenty of parking. No telephone pole to get in your way. A cool patio. It's right by the track, so the tradition continues. And this is a tradition that's been around forever. That commissary is famous for hickory-smoked, slow-cooked Memphis-style barbecue. They've got a private party room at the new one in Collierville. Self-catering still continues. Party packs for $5.95. Basically, the great ribs, the great pulled shoulder, the great deviled eggs. Everything is there in Collierville and Germantown now. So there is now a Germantown and Collierville style of barbecue. It's called Germantown Commissary.
If you've always thought, hey, I'd look pretty good in Lexus, well, guess what? Lexus thinks so too. Lexus is offering you the Golden Opportunity Sales Event. Great offers on all 2020 models and special lease options. Drive in luxury and confidence, knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by Lexus of Memphis, 2600 Ridgeway, and put yourself in the driver's seat of an all-new 2020 flagship LS500. Hey, you look pretty good there. Lexus Golden Opportunity Sales Event at Lexus of Memphis. Experience amazing.
Hi, I'm Troy Five-Ash, owner of Five-Ash Roofing. Do you have any idea why I never speak the way I am right now? It's because if you're honest, sincere, and knowledgeable, you do not need fast-talking, high-energy, gimmick-promising advertising to get a customer's attention. Speaking of that, how do you think companies can offer huge rebates and giveaways when you use their services or buy their products? By overcharging you in the first place, that's how. Five-Ash Roofing doesn't operate that way. It's misleading and dishonest. When I provide a customer with the best products and the best service possible and do it at a fair price, why would I need gimmicks to sell it? Best products, best warranties, and best service possible. That's all we offer. Well, that and financing. Five-Ash Roofing, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Memphis Tigers home team. Five-Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
We are
Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Fox Sports Trending now.
All of the NFL award winners have been announced, including league MVP, which, to the surprise of no one, went to Baltimore Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson, who was a unanimous choice for the league's most valuable player. His offensive coordinator, Greg Roman, won the award for Best Assistant Coach. His head coach, John Harbaugh, won Coach of the Year. To see all of the winners, be sure to check out the NFL Honors Show tonight on Fox at 8 Eastern. They also announced today were the 5 selections for the induction into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. The class includes defensive backs Troy Polamalu and Steve Atwater, running back Edgerrin James, offensive lineman Steve Hutchinson, and wide receiver Isaac Bruce. In college hoops action, Michigan just beat Rutgers for an upset there in the Big Ten. Oregon leading Stanford at the half 36-28. Kentucky leading Auburn 32-28 late in the first half, and they're at the half 21st Houston with a 40-30 lead over Cincinnati. I'm Kevin Figures.
Our Super Bowl 54 coverage continues. Woo! You know the teams. Chiefs, 49ers. We know who's talking.
You can't decide to be tough on Sunday.
And you know this is the breakdown you need.
Yo! 1, 2, 3,
live from the Geico Fox Sports Radio studios. Here's Jonas Knox.
For as even of a matchup as the Super Bowl is coming up on Sunday on Fox, there actually is one team that's got a little bit more momentum than the other. I'll tell you what team that is and why. Coming up next here on Fox Sports Radio. Jonas Knox here on FSR. You can check out this show on the iHeartRadio app, on all of our Fox Sports Radio affiliates, over 200 all across the country. We appreciate a few minutes of your time as we come to you live from the Geico Fox Sports Radio studios. For 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com for a free rate quote. So this Super Bowl, and I'll be honest with you, everyone's talking about how great of a game this is going to be, and that's the big discussion here. Everybody's talking about, oh man, this is going to be just an awesome game, and it's going to be so much fun, and these teams are going to go are so evenly matched, and blah blah blah. And so you're trying to find out matchup differences. All right, so who's got an advantage here? Who's got an advantage there? And that's really the topic of conversation. The point spread's real small. I believe it's the 2 best teams in the NFL. I think we've got Kansas City, who I think was the better team down the stretch. With Patrick Mahomes coming off that injury, Baltimore got all the love, but I loved Kansas City going into the playoffs. I thought they were the best team in the AFC. And then the 49ers, based on winning that home field advantage and being the number 1 seed, I felt like they were at a big advantage heading into the playoffs. They got 2 home games. They got Minnesota, who had to play the week before, and they bludgeoned them at the line of scrimmage. And then they got a major matchup advantage over the Green Bay Packers. But there is one of these teams, Kansas City and San Francisco, one of them's got momentum heading into the postseason. And I think they've got more momentum than the other does. Being in Miami this past week, being in South Beach on Radio Row, and talking with people throughout the entire media center and all the people that were there, the one common thought was that I guess majority of people liked San Francisco in this matchup based on the team, but almost everybody is rooting for Andy Reid. That's really the vibe and the impression I got, that people believe that San Francisco is probably going to win the game, but they are really rooting for Andy Reid. And they want Andy Reid to win this Super Bowl because that's really the last thing missing from a Hall of Fame career for Andy Reid. If Andy Reid loses this game, then we hear more about he can't get it done when it matters most, and he's just another Marty Schottenheimer, and that's just a reality, whether it's right or wrong, whether you think it's fair or not. That's just how we judge resumes. That's how we judge careers. we don't apply a lot of nuance to things. We don't realize, the matchups or, the circumstances going into a game. We don't apply that. We simply look at wins, losses, box scores, this and that. I like Andy Reid as much as anybody. I'm hoping Andy Reid wins a Super Bowl at some point in his career because I do believe he's a Hall of Famer. But that is really the conventional wisdom in South Beach, in Miami. Kind of leaning towards San Francisco, but really are hoping good things happen for Andy Reid. Adam Kaplan covered Andy Reid in Philadelphia for a long time. And Adam Kaplan, Fox Sports Radio NFL insider, Sirius XM NFL radio as well, has been covering the league for a lot of years. And one of the things that we discussed earlier was not just Andy Reid's path to get here and leaving Philadelphia and going to Kansas City, but also people forget. Years and years ago at training camp, Andy Reid's son overdosed and died at the Eagles training camp before a season. Here was Adam Kaplan talking about Reid earlier.
I was actually, sadly, there the day that Andy's son passed away, and it was really very sad. They cleared the field. That's something that I've never seen before in my 20-plus years of covering the NFL, and Andy's overcome a lot, and here's another fact that most people don't know. His friends around the National Football League actually said to Andy he ought to take the year off and sort of regroup after the 12th season after the Eagles fired him. And he told everyone he's not going to do that because he's a football coach, and that's all he really knows how to do. And you know that, Jonas. Most football coaches, they would be out of their element doing anything else, and that's what Andy did. And look at how they turned things around immediately in Kansas City. That was really remarkable. If you remember where the Chiefs were after the 12th season, they were in disarray, and he changed everything like he did in 1999, where he changed the culture in Philly.
100%. And it's why I've always thought that Bill Parcells was maybe a guy who didn't get he's a Hall of Famer. He got ultimate respect. But I do feel like Bill Parcells kind of gets left behind when the discussion of great coaches in the history of the game come about. And the reason why I've always been a Bill Parcells guy is because Bill Parcells took over bad situations over and over and over in the NFL, and it worked everywhere. Everywhere Bill Parcells went, it worked. Yeah, he grew tired of it, and they probably grew tired of him, but it worked. He went to the Giants. They were a bad football team. It worked. He left the Giants. The Patriots. It worked. He got them to a Super Bowl. The Jets, after being a horrendous football team the year before, he got them to an AFC title game. It worked in Dallas. He's the guy who discovered Tony Romo. They went to the playoffs when Dallas was a bad football team. Everywhere he's gone, it worked. And if you're Andy Reid and you took over the Philadelphia Eagles and you went to 4 conference championships and you were in a Super Bowl, and then you get to Kansas City, another bad football team who had been in a rut for a long time, and you go there and it works almost instantaneously, and now you find yourself, after going to the postseason a lot of years in a row, you find yourself in the Super Bowl. I think we got to put a lot more respect behind Andy Reid than maybe some people want to. I know it's easy to label, well, he doesn't win a Super Bowl, he's not a Hall of Famer, but there is a legitimate argument and conversation to be had. He's one of the top 7-8 coaches in the NFL when it comes to career wins. And so I know people like to pigeonhole him with Marty Schottenheimer and say he couldn't get it done in the postseason, but I do think Andy Reid may be one of those guys, based on his reputation and what he's done in the NFL at multiple spots, that you can look at afterwards and say, even if he loses a Super Bowl, that guy's still a Hall of Famer. But this was my point earlier, and it's why, and I don't know if unfair is the right word to use, but I don't know that the NFL tells you the truth. Like, I don't know that the NFL tells you the truth after every season. I really don't. In the NBA, you always get the truth. Who's the best team? Who's the best team in the NBA? The truth will be told every single year because you got to beat a team 4 times out of 7 in order to advance. So fluke occurrences don't really exist. The NCAA tournament, does the best team get to the Final Four every year? If your answer is yes, clearly you haven't been paying attention to George Mason or South Carolina or some of these other teams that have made runs to the Final Four in years past. Like, those don't always tell you the truth. The NBA does. The NHL will tell you the truth. The NFL doesn't always tell you the truth. And it's not always the most fair. If you were to think about it like this, if the 49ers do, in fact, win the Super Bowl, the 49ers are, in essence, being rewarded for butchering the direction of their franchise like 4 or 5 years ago. I mean, the 49ers had Jim Harbaugh as their head coach and had no losing seasons with Harbaugh there. They were in, I think, 3 straight conference championship games, and they were in a Super Bowl and were a pass or a pass interference not called away from winning that Super Bowl over the Baltimore Ravens. And they decided, because of dysfunction up top, that they were going to move on from Jim Harbaugh. And so what'd they do? They bring in Adam Gase, except they tell Adam Gase, if you want the job, you got to keep Jim Tomsula as your defensive coordinator. Adam Gase said, no, I'd like Vic Fangio. They say, nah, I don't think you heard us. It's Jim Tomsula or you don't get the gig. And Adam Gase said, okay, I'll go somewhere else. They hired Jim Tomsula. It was a waste of a year. They then decide to turn things over to Chip Kelly. They go 2-14. They got to look again for a head coach. Meanwhile, Jim Harbaugh's in Michigan turning around that program, while San Francisco's fiddling around going, okay, we're scrambling. What are we going to do? So much so that they had to give John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan 6-year contracts just to show, hey, we're not going to pull the plug after 1 year like we did the past 3. Like, don't worry about it. It's not going to happen. We're not going to pull the plug quick on you guys. So Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch are kind of piecing this thing together. They're not very good the first couple of years. They get kind of a gift of a trade that sort of falls in their lap when it comes to Jimmy Garoppolo. And here they are in the Super Bowl. And again, you talk to most people. You talk to people around Radio Row. Bruce Gradkowski said it last hour. They're kind of lean towards the 49ers. It just feels like the matchup is a matchup that favors the 49ers. So if you were to tell me, I got 2 organizations, I got 2 franchises, all right? One franchise butchered their head coaching search and has burned through 4 head coaches in like 3.5 years and has a bunch of losing seasons in a row, but they're in the Super Bowl. And the other is a team that drafted their franchise quarterback, has consistently been a postseason team the last several years, and has won a lot of games over the last half decade. Which team is deserving of winning the Super Bowl more? I'm going to go with the second team. That team's the Chiefs. Yet the harsh dose of reality in the NFL is the 49ers might actually win this game. After doing it wrong and getting it wrong so many years in a row, here we are, and they're going to match up with a team that actually got it right. They're going to match up with a team that actually made the right moves. A team that actually said, you know what, Alex Smith playing at a high level, but we really trust this Patrick Mahomes guy. When nobody else in the NFL was ready to take him that high, there was Kansas City, and it worked. And yet here we are. In a little over 24 hours from now, we're going to find out who gets rewarded. The team that majority of the time the last decade has done it right, or the team majority of the time the last half decade that's done it wrong. And in that case, I don't know that the end result is always the truth. I don't know if the best team always wins. And I don't know if the most deserving team always wins, and we'll get to find that out again coming up Sunday on Fox. Jonas Knox here on Fox Sports Radio. You can check out the show on the iHeartRadio app. You can get me on Twitter at @TheJonasKnox, @TheJonasKnox on Twitter. Up next, we have a brand new set of names that will go into the Hall of Fame. We've got the very latest on that, plus one moment that stands out above all the rest involving one of those names, and we'll have it for you next year on Fox Sports Radio.
1, 2, 3, let's get it! While your eyes are locked on the TV during Super Bowl 54, your ears better be parked on the radio.
Back left, go, 90s Army, let's go!
Listen right here for your best Super Bowl 54 coverage.
Yeah, all we gotta do is win! Win! And win!
On Fox Sports Radio.
At Farmers Insurance, we know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two. We've seen a car run into a tree fall through a roof, and we've even seen a car fall through a roof.
Hey, babe! Your parents are here!
But there's a better way for your home and auto to come together. Bundle them. And when you get both, you could save an average of 20%. Visit farmers.com or call 1-800-FARMERS to get a quote today.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Reported 2018 nationwide average savings underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
Hey, this is Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans. Quicken Loans is celebrating our best quarter ever, and now we're celebrating some of the lowest refinancing rates ever. Rates have dropped so much that many Americans can reduce their rate. You may be able to save money on your monthly mortgage payment right now. The rate today on our 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 3.99%. APR 4.23%. Call us at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com to learn more.
Rates subject to change. Pay 2% fee to receive this discounted rate. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
Message and data rates may apply.
Earning your degree from one of the top business schools in the country might sound impossible to fit into your workload. But what if there were a business degree that advanced your career skills and gave you access to world-renowned faculty, leaders, and mentors all on your schedule? One that opened doors to some of the most influential CEOs, tech companies, law firms, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders. And what if you could earn that degree in as little as 16 months, 100% online? Find out more. Text SPARK to 79645. Start on the path to earning your MBA or Business Analytics Master's degree online from the W.P. Carey School of Business at Arizona State University today. Learn more about the graduate programs from the top-ranked W.P. Carey School of Business at Arizona State University, offered 100% online. Text SPARK to 79645. That's SPARK to 79645.
You're in charge of hiring, and Indeed has solutions. Like online skills tests, which let a candidate show that they're the right hire. And we give you this magic music, which will inspire the perfect hire to begin clog dancing. Okay, there's no magic music, but skills tests, that's a for sure.
See why independent research by Silk Road shows Indeed delivers 3 times more hires than any other job site. Post your next job at Indeed.com/hire and try skills tests for free. Terms and conditions apply.
You have to be up in 5 hours, 2 hours, 6 minutes. And when you hear, you realize that you haven't slept a wink. That's why there's ZzzQuil Pure Z's, a drug-free blend of botanicals with an optimal dose of melatonin, so you can fall asleep naturally with no next-day grogginess. It's available in both liquid and gummies, tastes great, and is non-habit forming. Pick up ZzzQuil Pure Z's from the sleep experts at Vicks ZzzQuil. ZzzQuil Pure Z's, naturally superior sleep. Available at retailers near you.
These seats are amazing.
Shoot it!
We deliver tickets, team merchandise, and everything you need to get ready for the game. But what you really get when FedEx knocks on your door is so much more.
FedEx Delivery.
Game day spirit. What we deliver by delivering.
I almost never go to Central Barbecue without running into somebody I know.
That could be because you only eat at Central Barbecue.
It's because Central Barbecue is where Memphians go to get barbecue and has consistently been voted the most popular barbecue restaurant among locals.
Actually, that's really saying something.
I know. Memphis is the nation's capital of barbecue. With all the choices, people who live here go to Central Barbecue.
They do get their share of tourists.
Sure, because Central Barbecue has been mentioned on TV and in tons of national publications. You know why?
Because of the great food?
Because those TV shows and magazines look for the place where the locals go, and that, my friend, is Central Barbecue.
Hi, I'm Troy 5 owner of 5 Roofing. Can anyone explain to me why anyone would care how I measure your roof? We have all heard about measuring your roof from outer space. Well, to be honest, there are aerial pictures that are taken every 4 years that can be used to measure a building, but it's not from outer space. Besides, no one, and I mean no one, can tell you what's wrong with your roof or even if you need one by using pictures that might be 4 years old. If you would rather do business with a family-owned and operated business with a lifelong tie to Memphis that refuses to mislead or use gimmicks, please give me a call. Best products, best warranties, and the best customer service we know how to provide. 5 Roofing, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Memphis Tigers home team. 5 Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5 Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
If you ever need to listen to us, what? Just ask for us. Hey Siri, play Fox Sports Radio.
Hit us up. It's your turn to weigh in.
There you go.
Thanks for coming in and hanging out with us here on Fox Sports Radio.
It's that easy. We're Fox Sports Radio.
You got a ton of talent.
They're the names and voices you listen to.
Oh, my Lord.
Fox Sports Radio. And they're right here on Fox Sports Radio. Super Bowl Sunday on Fox. Make sure you're watching before kickoff for a pregame show you will not want to miss. Demi Lovato, DJ Khaled, Yolanda Adams, Dan and Shay, and Pitbull. Don't miss the Fox Super Bowl pregame show.
This song stinks. What is this crap? Is this little Advil or whatever it is? Is that one of the performers?
They gave you, an imbecile, a moron who goes on television and makes a fool out of himself in front of the whole damn country.
Jonas
Knox.
Oh,
sorry, Jonas. It's actually Chester Bennington, rest in peace, with the remaining members of Stone Temple Pilots. After Scott Weiland passed, they collaborated, but
that's good.
Now both Scott and Chester
good
have gone on
that's awesome.
But you asked,
yeah, more death talk here.
I'm sorry,
Okay,
comes
that's
up.
good. Very, very good. I mean, the song still stinks. So
all right, well, sorry.
I'm just saying. All right.
It's no 89 Crazy Fists.
That's 36 Crazy Fists, and put some respect on their name. All right.
I'll go next time.
Coming up a little over 10 minutes from now here on Fox Sports Radio. By the way, Jonas Knox here on FSR. You can listen to the show on the iHeartRadio app. We will have the Scraps with Kevin Figures. Listen, it's where I show off my broadcast professionalism, and Kevin does not. So if you want to hear that, make sure you're sticking around a little over 10 minutes from now on FSR. By the way, these crybaby Raider fans that are crying that Josh Jacobs didn't win Offensive Rookie of the Year and Kyler Murray did. Like, are we like handing out awards for incompletes? Is that what we're doing? Josh Jacobs didn't play 3 games. He didn't play 3 games, and 8 of the 13 that he did, he was under 100 yards rushing. Kyler Murray had over 4,000 yards passing and rushing combined. How is this even debatable? Like, I don't understand what the complaining is. Offensive Rookie of the Year. It doesn't really mean anything. It's just an award. It's a trophy. Like, it doesn't. You're not automatically inducted into the Hall of Fame. I think Vince Young was Rookie of the Year too. It's not that big of a deal, but Raider fans are all over social media complaining about it. He missed 3 games, and of the 13 that he did play in, Josh Jacobs, 8 of them were under 100 yards. It's not even. I don't even think it's close, and the voting wasn't close. I have no issue with it whatsoever. I would have voted Kyler Murray too. Had Josh Jacobs played those 3 games, I could understand the argument, but he didn't. So we're going to reward based on incompletes? I mean, if that's the case, why didn't Carson Wentz win the MVP when he missed a few games a couple of years ago? Like, I don't know. I don't know what the argument is here. All right. So, again, Jonas Knox here on Fox Sports Radio. Now, we do have a brand new batch of Hall of Famers in the NFL that came out earlier today. And look, these have been coming out throughout the course of the show, but the brand new batch of Hall of Famers. And there was a special sort of presentation done this year, or a special selection that was done to where they announced several players that went in before the 100-year anniversary, all of that. But the newest members of the class that were announced earlier today, and it came out, Troy Polamalu of the Steelers, Isaac Bruce, longtime wide receiver for the LA Rams, Edgerrin James, who had a fantastic career as a running back for the Colts and the Cardinals. Steve Hutchinson was one of the better offensive linemen in the league for a long time, played for the Seahawks, played for the Vikings, and then also Steve Atwater, who was one of the most feared safeties in the NFL for a long, long time. And Steve Atwater also gets into the Hall of Fame. And the Atwater discussion, I think, is an interesting one, because there's a play you always think of when it comes to Steve Atwater. Now, Bucky Brooks, former NFL player, you hear him Saturdays with me here normally in this time slot here on Fox Sports Radio, former scout, but a guy who played in the NFL at the same time as Steve Atwater. He talked about the impact of Atwater earlier today.
You need to be a guy that has been like a dominant player at the position where everyone kind of recognized you as that. Multiple all-pro guy, a guy that was maybe an all-decade team member, someone that is really known for revolutionizing the position while also delivering a moment that kind of stands the test of time. I think Atwater has some of those moments. I think there was a time in old school ball where he was the most feared safety in football outside of Ronnie Lott. And then the moment that lasts a lifetime is his big hit on Christian Okoye, when he put Christian Okoye on his back when the Nigerian Nightmare was the most feared runner in ball. I think, to me, Hall of Famers have to have some of those moments, and I think he is well worthy and well deserving of being inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Look, I don't think you get into the Hall of Fame based on one moment. You know, I don't think that's even possible, but I do think that it does change your reputation. I really do. And that could be good or bad, and it could be based on one moment. When you talk, okay, what two moments stand out in Eli Manning's career? The throw to Mario Manningham down the sidelines, which is a 1%er. 1% of the human race can make that throw. Eli Manning happened to be one of those people that can make that throw in that moment. And then also the David Tyree play. If neither one of those plays are made, Eli Manning is not talked about the same way. He's just not. Jadeveon Clowney's hit in the bowl game against Michigan, knocked the player's helmet off. That's all we think about in that game. But if I'm not mistaken, Taylor Lewan was the tackle for Michigan at that time, and Taylor Lewan had his way with Jadeveon Clowney most of the game. But because of that one moment, it kind of changes how you look at somebody. I'll ask you this. Jose Batista in baseball. When you think about Jose Batista, what's the first thing you think of? Him getting cracked by Rougned Odor at second base in a regular season game a couple of years ago. You don't think about the home runs. You don't think about the bat flips. You think about him getting smoked with a right hand at second base. I think there really are certain moments that you apply to a player and they either become negatives or positives and you look at them in a different light. Steve Atwater's hit on Christian Okoye, when Okoye was the wrecking ball of the NFL, the Nigerian Nightmare. Nobody could touch him. Nobody wanted any part of him up the middle, meeting him head on in a hole. He ran over everybody. Steve Atwater on national television smoked him. I mean, crushed him. And it's one of those plays that people talk about. It's when I say the name Steve Atwater, the first thing that comes to mind is that. I don't even think about the 2 Super Bowls. He won 2 Super Bowls. I don't even think about that. If I'm not like I think he was injured in the last play, the first Super Bowl they won against Green Bay. I remember like it was yesterday. I think he missed the last play of the game because he broke up a pass down the field from Brett Favre. But when you say the name Steve Atwater, I don't think about the Pro Bowls. I don't think about the Super Bowls. I think about the hit on Christian Okoye on national TV in the hole. That's what I think of. But I'll ask you the question. If that hit never existed, is Steve Atwater a Hall of Famer? Honest to God, I don't think he would be. I do really think there's something to those moments, those one plays, those isolated times in history that it makes you rethink and view certain athletes differently. Jadeveon Clowney, the hit in the bowl game, made you think he was unbelievable and the most respected talent to come out in how many years. But if you actually go back and look at the game, didn't really have that great of a game. Wasn't even a sack. And if that player's helmet is buckled up correctly, it never happens like that. It just doesn't. Jose Batista hit a bunch of home runs, clutch hits in the postseason. What do you remember Jose Batista? If I say the name Jose Batista, him getting punched in the face by Rougned Odor at second base. Like, I do believe there are certain moments in time that when they happen, it either positively affects how you look at a career or negatively affects it, right or wrong. And I think had Steve Atwater not had that big hit on Christian Okoye on national TV, I don't know that we're talking about him being a Hall of Famer. I really don't. Jonas Knox, Fox Sports Radio. You can check out the show on the iHeartRadio app. You can get me on Twitter at @TheJonasKnox on Twitter. Up next, we will have the scraps, some things in the world of sports we have not had a chance to get to, and we'll have that for you here on FSR. For all the latest from around the world of sports, though, ladies and gentlemen, open up your eyes, your ears, and your hearts to the great Kevin Figures.
Thank you, Jonas. And, of course, the NFL awards have all been announced. To the surprise of no one, Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson named the unanimous NFL League MVP. And the Offensive Player of the Year, maybe because they didn't want to give it to the same guy, so they just gave it to someone else. But Michael Thomas, in his own right, had a phenomenal season for New Orleans. So he won the Offensive Player of the Year.
So you're saying that it probably should have gone to Lamar Jackson as well,
I'm not saying should have. I'm just saying it very well could have.
In a roundabout way, what you're saying is that the NFL's racist.
By giving the one award to one black guy and another award to another black guy.
Yeah, you think that they were more racist towards one than the other.
100%.
Okay, good. There it is. Kevin Figures, everybody. See how we can. Yeah. Look, we get to the bottom of things here on Fox Sports Radio.
Speaking of black guys, Titans quarterback Ryan Tannehill won Comeback Player of the Year. Yeah! Nick Bosa won the Defensive Rookie of the Year. There you go. The Hall of Fame inductees for the 2020 class of the Pro Football Hall of Fame: Steve Hutchinson, Isaac Bruce, Steve Atwater, Troy Polamalu, and Edgerrin James. We check in on the college basketball scoreboard. 11th ranked Oregon leading Stanford 47-41 early in the second half. They're also early in the second half in the SEC. Auburn leading Kentucky 45-44. Earlier, Gonzaga rallied back for a victory over San Francisco. Baylor with a blowout victory over TCU. Kansas held off a late rally by Texas Tech for a 78-75 victory. In the NBA, the Clippers got 31 points from Kawhi Leonard in a victory over the T-Wolves. Knicks with an early 21-9 lead over the Pacers in the first quarter. Magic with the lead over the Heat 24-23 in the first quarter. We'll get back to Jonas Knox in 10 seconds, but first, a word from Farmers.
Winter means it's time to bundle up your insurance. Bundle home and auto with Farmers, and you could save an average of 20%. Call 1-800-FARMERS to get a quote today.
We are Farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Reported 2018 nationwide average savings underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
Back to Jonas Knox.
Thanks, Kev. Coming up here in a little over, we'll call it about 15 minutes from now here on FSR, we will have the final installment of the Prop Bet Monster, all right? Our last batch of prop bets we are going to take a swing on here in 15 minutes from now as we get ready for Super Bowl 54. Right now, though, it is time for a little something we do on the show every single week at this time, and it's called this.
You moron.
How could you not get to these stories?
You moron.
These are the scraps.
And for that, we turn it back over to the respected broadcaster that is Kevin Figures.
Thank you, Jonas. Now, we don't talk a lot of Major League Baseball on this show, but I thought this story was fairly significant in its weirdness, if that's even a word. So according to the Denver Post, the owner of the Colorado Rockies, his name is Dick Monfort, he told an audience at a baseball-related panel he expects the Colorado Rockies to win a franchise record 94 games this season. And when asked why he felt so confident that they would have such a great season after only winning 71 games last year, he said it's because the analytics department told him so.
Oh, Jesus.
His team analytics department told him that, I guess based on their numbers or their algorithm, they're projected to win 94 games this season.
I just okay. Now what if somebody gets an injury? What about the number now?
You carry the one over, and then maybe that's like two fewer wins. I don't know. What if you don't have Nolan Arenado, who's back on the trade block reportedly? What about that?
I'm confused.
What? Yeah. What if somebody goes on the DL? And you because the analytics, they're just looking at numbers. In a perfect world, if the numbers go like it's put in the calculator, then yes, that would be correct. I could understand why you would come up with 94. But it's not a perfect world, and injuries happen, and bad breaks are suffered, and that's the way things go. So why even? That just makes them look like a team that does nothing and basically relies on the analytics department to put together their roster day in and day out.
Or it could be very smart, and he's looking for a justification to try to blow out his front office and get a new regime. He said, "Hey, we were supposed to win 94 games this season. What happened?" We were terrible. Got to blow you guys out.
It's
not a legitimate excuse, but I'm just going off of, because otherwise it doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Look, they better figure out the Nolan Arenado thing,
right?
Because that is not a good situation, and because of the NFL and the Super Bowl and all that, it hasn't, and the Astros cheating, it hasn't gotten as much run and publicity as a lot of people would expect it to. But they burned the bridge with Nolan Arenado. Now there's rumors out there that the Cubs and the Rockies might do a trade, and it's Nolan Arenado for Chris Bryant. I have no idea why the Rockies would do that trade. But this idea that they're going to come out and say, we expect to win 94 and a half games. All right, well, they're just going to hold you to that this entire season. And if you don't do it, you're going to be criticized for it.
No doubt. Now, Antonio Brown, many people have called into question his mental stability over many of the things that he's done and the decisions he's made over the last year. But his attorney says everything is fine. His attorney, so he was this case that he has going against him for this truck driver that he allegedly assaulted and is on charge, facing charges for. They actually court ordered him to actually have a mental evaluation, and according to his lawyer, the mental evaluation came out clean. They said he was perfectly mentally healthy.
But no, what do you mean? I thought he had CTE. That's what Josina Anderson said. He had CTE. What do you mean? Dr. Josina Anderson of ESPN said he's got CTE. Like, just what? This idea that we know exactly what CTE is and what causes it is insane. So he's got CTE because he sent out a tweet that said no more white women in 2020.
Right.
Well, I'm not dating a white woman either. Do I have CTE?
Well, you never know.
Like, what are we talking about here? It's okay to acknowledge we have no idea what's happening. We don't know. You can't make a direct correlation between Antonio Brown's behavior and Aaron Hernandez murdering multiple people. You can't do it. I don't know why we try and go down this road. Like, if somebody's acting erratically, it doesn't mean that they're on drugs. Maybe they just haven't slept in a couple of days. Like, there are different possibilities and different outcomes. But it feels like we hear the name CTE. Like, most people can't even pronounce the full name. They just use the acronym and go with that.
Right.
Like, I can't even pronounce the full name.
Yeah, there are many people who have had head trauma, who have not had any head trauma, who still suffer from many issues.
No kidding.
To try to correlate it to football all the time.
Like, there's a lot of old-time football, like professional football players that played in the NFL, and you hear them on television and they're analysts, and everything's fine. They're not out murdering people. And they're not out acting recklessly. Like, just not. They've got CTE. Everybody that played football has CTE.
Right.
Okay, well, not everybody's acting out like the way these guys are acting out. You can't draw an apples-to-apples correlation on it. It doesn't make any sense.
No doubt. Now, here is a man in Tennessee that's trying to make some change here. Now, he's taking some change to his local legislation. So there's a 20-year-old man. His name is Spencer Boston. He stood up in front of a courtroom and said, "We the people deserve better," as he proceeded to take out a joint from his pocket and light it inside of a courtroom.
Yeah, good for him.
Now, apparently, obviously, weed is becoming more and more legalized around the country, but in Tennessee, it is not, and he's trying to be the leader in the forefront of trying to get that law changed. And so he actually pulled it out of his pocket, put it in his mouth, and drew laughs from the crowd. The judge was not laughing. They actually did arrest him, I should say, and charge him with disorderly conduct and simple possession of a drug.
And so is he now? Was it a joint? Was it like a bong hit?
It is being
an apple with a hole in both sides, or what?
Now, WSMV in Tennessee describes it as
weed college?
They describe it as a quote rolled marijuana cigarette.
What does that mean?
It's just I called it a joint. It's like a marijuana cigarette.
Well, they actually, from what I heard, Kevin, I'm not trying to doubt your sources, but I have a source in Tennessee who told me that it was actually he smoked his weed out of an apple, and when the judge asked him what he was doing, his response was this:
"You can eat this."
So I don't.
Well, you know what? You probably should check my source, and you're 100% right.
That's fine to eat.
It's not fine to eat. It's not fine to smoke in the room either.
Not in the least.
Like, why would he?
That's some boldness, though.
Here's the thing. So he knows he's going to get arrested, right?
Yep. They say he took approximately 6 hits of the joint, by the way.
In what amount of time?
I'm not exactly sure. It doesn't say. Unfortunately, I do not have video of the occasion. But
well, how do you? First, okay. So I'm assuming there's security and cops inside the courthouse. Correct. So. Was it a courthouse? Am I saying that correct? So was he in a courthouse or was he in?
Yeah, they say he did. He did it in front of a judge.
Right, every time you see a scene in a courthouse, there are cops and armed security inside the courthouse.
Correct.
Just in case anything happens. So you
Right.
mean to tell me a guy pulls out weed, takes 6 hits off it before they're able to detain him? This feels like the part in JFK where they're saying there wasn't enough time to get off that many shots. How would there be enough time to get off that many bong rips without security arresting this guy?
Yeah, because you remember after the first 2 or 3 puffs, you're like, oh, wow. The state of shock wears off after a point where you say, okay, we probably need to just cuff this guy.
Yeah. Would somebody like do something about this? I would love to see the court reporter. I would love to see the transcript of how what sort of details they were when he started ripping this weed cigarette or whatever it was. Why are potheads so strange? They really are strange. I mean, listen, I'm not trying to judge. I don't smoke pot. I've never smoked weed. But I hear more weird behavior involving weed than I do a lot of other things. I don't know. Maybe I just can't. Maybe I just can't relate. I don't know.
Whether or not the judge actually heard him out and considered taking it to the legislation to change the law, that's still to be determined.
He'll be a folk hero around town.
I'm sure.
Good for him.
And those are the scraps.
Well done. Kevin Figures here on Fox Sports Radio.
Would you go to weed college?
By the way, get Kev on Twitter at KFig1, at KFig1 for all the latest on that pot junkie in Tennessee who decided to pull out a joint inside court. All right. We are coming to you live here from the Geico Fox Sports Radio studios. Up next here on FSR, we are going to get to the final installment of the Prop Bet Monster as we gear up for Super Bowl 54 and your chance to make some cash next year on FSR.
1, 2, 3, go, go.
You know when the big game goes down.
We're playing for the love of the game.
We'll have the plays.
Touchdown.
We'll have the breakdowns. Before, during, and after. Everything you need right here on Fox Sports Radio.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-700-6898. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-700-6898. That's 800-700-6898. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898.
I'm here interviewing Macaulay Williams, CEO of Big River Distilling Company here in Memphis. Macaulay, tell us about the uniqueness of your Blue Note Bourbon and Riverset Rye.
Well, Eli, both my products, Blue Note Bourbon and Riverset Rye, are produced right here in Memphis, Tennessee. The Blue Note Bourbon is a premium small batch blend, minimum age of 9 years, served at 93 proof. The Riverset Rye is a straight rye whiskey, also at 93 proof. It's a great spicy, herbaceous tone. It's great in cocktails.
Where can folks find the Blue Note Bourbon and Riverset Rye?
Both products can be found at any local liquor store here in Memphis and also at most bars and restaurants. Next time you're down the town, be sure to ask your bartender for a glass of Blue Note or Riverset.
And is there anywhere else that folks can get more information about your products?
Yeah, absolutely. At our website, BlueNoteBourbon.com or RiversetRye.com. Also, be sure to follow us on social media at Blue Note Bourbon or at Riverset Rye.
All right, well, that sounds great. I can't wait to try a bottle.
Yeah, Eli, I really appreciate the support, and hopefully you and your listeners can pick up a bottle today.
It's time for some straight talk. Some choices don't require a brain, like getting the new iPhone 11 with the ultra-wide camera. Do you want an expensive plan with a contract or an affordable plan with no contract? Like I said, a no-brainer. Why pay more for the same network? Switch to Straight Talk Wireless and get a plan that's up to half the cost of big carriers, all on America's largest and most dependable 4G LTE networks. Straight Talk Wireless, only at Walmart.
Savings may vary. See straighttalk.com.
Is your wife asking you to stop eating junk food? Well, we have you covered at Humdinger's. It's quick and it's healthy, and most important, it tastes amazing. With many choices from salmon salad to rainbow trout and grilled asparagus. Come visit us for lunch at Humdinger's, 6300 Poplar Avenue. So good, Coach Penny eats with us weekly. Don't forget, Humdinger's offers full-service catering for weddings, social events, or your corporate lunches. You can call 901-260-8292 to find out more.
At Victory Auto Sales, that's victoryauto.org. We always ask our customers what they want most in a used car.
I want a car that runs when I turn the key. Don't want my appointment over there just waiting on me.
Buddy.
Throw away the cable. You'll never be late. With one of our cars because they are just darn great. I want a car that runs down the road, that doesn't leave me stranded while it's getting towed. I want brakes on my car so I can stop when I'm driving too fast and when I see a cop.
They want a car that starts. They want a car that runs. They want a car that stops. Victory Auto Sales, 901-380-5800. That's victoryauto.org. Check us out. We are at 4885 Elmore, just off Covington Pike. In-house financing, of course. Generous credit approval. Of course. Don't forget to ask about our layaway. That's victoryauto.org, 901-380-5800. Fill out the credit app online or come by or give us a call, 901-380-5800.
Hi, this is Troy Five-Ash, owner of Five-Ash Roofing. It is that time of year where the weather is unpredictable, and given the recent storms, it's a good time to discuss insurance claims. So here's a few things you should know. Always hire a local contractor, because if you have a problem with your roof down the road, you want to be able to find him. Never allow anyone to pressure you into signing a contingency contract. They're used as sales tools, making you feel committed, and the truth is, those contracts are not worth the paper they're written on. Be careful of door-knocking salesmen. Some are reputable, but many are not. They canvass the neighborhood and tell everyone to file a claim, working their percentages and not caring if you file a claim even when they know the likelihood of it being approved is low. Some will even damage your roof, hoping to convince the adjuster it's storm damage. That's fraud, and contractors have gone to jail for that. So do your research and know who you're hiring. Five-Ash Roofing, the official roof of the University of Memphis Athletic Department. Fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
If you don't know us by now, first question. How is that possible? We're a fun-loving sports network. We give you insight.
This story is something I absolutely love.
We give you hot takes.
This is an insane hot take.
We give you the sports and information you need.
It's fun. It's the best.
As Biggie once said, if you don't know, now you know.
And if you don't know, now you know.
We're Fox Sports Radio.
Start your engine!
The greatest day in all of racing returns on Fox. The Daytona 500 kicks off the 2020 NASCAR season.
The Daytona 500, the great American race.
February 16th on Fox.
Jonas Knox, Fox Sports Radio. Coming to you live from the Geico Fox Sports Radio studios. Coming up in about 15 minutes from now here on FSR, Brian Noe and Telly Hughes will take over here on Fox Sports Radio. Make sure you stick around for that. They will have all the latest on the newest inductees into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, all the other stories around the NFL, including the game that's coming up tomorrow, which just happens to be the Super Bowl, the biggest game all year long. So it's fun. I was actually talking to Telly during the break, and, you know, there's so much happening and the Hall of Fame and all that. Oh, and by the way, there's the Super Bowl. So it is, that'll be a big deal. And those guys will have you covered. Brian Noe, Telly Hughes, next here on Fox Sports Radio. We got another installment of the Prop Bet Monster we will get to here momentarily. Before all of that here on FSR, it is time for the Geico Play of the Day.
Williams spins, gets it back for Harrell, outside for Leonard on the right wing, using the left-handed dribble, drive and kick for Beverly, pump fake and drive, Leonard corner, pump fake, step back, right wing three, is good.
Another monster game for Kawhi Leonard, 31 points in the win for the LA Clippers. That call courtesy of AM 570 LA Sports, and it is our Geico Play of the Day. Whether you rent or own, Geico makes it easy to bundle home and auto insurance. Having a home is hard work, so get a quote at geico.com. Easy. Right now, it is time for our final installment of a little something we're doing here on the show called this.
Here to feed your degenerate gambling soul. The Prop Bet Monster.
All right, and we turn it back over to Lee DeLapp, our executive producer. Lee has been going through, sifting through the hundreds of prop bets and finding us a new batch every hour here on FSR. So, Lee, our final batch, what do we got as we get ready for Super Bowl 54?
All right, Jonas, the prop bet that everyone has to get action on is the heads or tails. Heads or tails for the coin toss to start the game.
All right. I'm going to go tails. And here's why.
Oh,
and I'll be
God.
totally transparent. Here's why. So this is from RJ Bell, pregame.com, straight out of Vegas, and he discussed this on Friday. He said because it's a special coin that they use, that it's actually weighted. And so it's weighted on the head side of the coin. So simple physics dictate that the heavier side will fall first. So if the heads is the heavier side, it'll land on heads with the tails facing up, which means it's tails. And it's actually, since he learned about that years and years ago, it's hit tails like 4 or 5 more times than it's hit heads. So there is something to it. So because of that, I am going to take tails. How about that, Lee? Didn't think I had that in the holster, did you? Wow.
Sounds like sure money to me. Maybe not as much as this next one, though. Will Kyle Shanahan wear a hat? And they're only giving you no plus 300.
They won't give you a yes?
No.
So you,
and does a visor count as a hat? Like, how does that work?
Yo, hold on a second. How is that even allowed? Like,
Yeah.
you have one option, no. So what? You can either not make any money and not bet it, or I don't under like. How does that even?
Yeah, that doesn't seem right.
Lee, are you sure about this?
Yeah, I remember RJ talking about this earlier in the week, and Fezzik saying, like, don't take these bets where they only give you one option.
But of course, this is the one that you gave me.
So basically, the only sure thing there is just not putting
God,
money down at all.
What a douchebag. Like, why would you even give me, like, so I guess I just have to take no then. That's my only option. All right, I'll take no then.
All
Are
right.
you happy, Lee?
There you go.
I mean, it's going to be a red flat-billed hat. That's what he wears. He wears flat bills.
If you want to take the odds on if Andy Reid will wear a hat, that is also only a no at plus 1,300.
No, I don't want that. I'll do one or the other, and I'll do Kyle Shanahan since you already gave it to me.
All right, how about this one? Over under 2.5 wardrobe changes for Jennifer Lopez at halftime. Over minus 250, under plus 170.
Kev, help me out here.
I'm probably going under, right?
How long do you think the performance is going to be?
16 minutes, maybe.
And so you're thinking under? Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
there's 2 of them.
Right. Now, it does give you an opportunity to dip into the back while somebody else does their thing, but they're going to perform together for a certain amount of time, too, and there's going to be a special guest, Pitbull.
Yeah.
So there's always that. So there's always that factor, too.
I like Pitbull.
So I would, like, what a little kid. Like, a little kid who was, like, talking about Santa Claus.
Right.
I would. All right, so I'm going to go with Kevin on this. I'm going to say the under, and here's my rationale. If she was by herself, you'd want to give a different look more times, so that way you could freshen up the performance. But I think there will be 1, maybe 2 wardrobe changes, but I don't think there'll be more than that because she's going to be teaming up with Shakira for this. And so I'm going to go with Kevin Figures. I'll take the under.
All right, will any player propose to his girlfriend on the field after the game? Yes, plus 500, no, minus 900.
I hope not? Is that an option,
Right.
Lee? Can we stop doing this crap?
All right.
What do you think, Kev?
Well, I mean, there's so many players on a roster. I feel like somebody probably does it every year. Now, whether or not cameras actually capturing him doing it is different.
Oh, never mind.
Because then they can always come back and say, like, oh, with somebody on Twitter snap this photo of a backup offensive tackle.
It's the old adage, don't bring sand to the beach, literally in South Beach.
Yes.
Let me tell you something. No guy's proposing and getting engaged in South Beach, especially after you win a Super Bowl. You're going to go take in whatever the Clevelander and Finnegan's Way or whatever those places are called on Ocean Drive. Get out of town. No way. Nobody's proposing. All right, what else we got, Lee?
All right, last score of the game. A touchdown at minus 167, a field goal at plus 125, and another not listed plus 4,000. I guess that means a safety.
This is the last one we got? This is our last one. Ooh, last score. And then what are the odds again, real quick?
Minus 167 for a touchdown, plus 125 for a field goal. Another's plus 4,000 for...
I'll take a field goal.
Those are good odds for a field goal.
Yeah, I'll take a field goal. I'm going to roll the field goal. So there it is. All right, for Lead to Lap, Iowa Sam, Kevin Figures, I'm Jonas Knox. Jonas Knox back tomorrow, post-Super Bowl show here on FSR.
We are Fox Sports.
Super Bowl time.
The following is a true story.
I had a lady that was in her mid-70s, and I'd sold her timeshare, and that was the lowest I'd ever felt in my life. I knew then that I had to do something to simply not to go to hell for selling timeshare.
Chuck McDowell founded Wesley Financial Group to help folks cancel their timeshares permanently.
Called her and everybody that I'd sold timeshare to, and I said, this is what I said to you that was a lie, and this is what you need to do to cancel your timeshare. From that point, people started referring friends to me to help them cancel a timeshare, and that's how it all started. I fought the world's largest timeshare company in federal court. If I had lost that lawsuit, there would be no one helping people that have been lied to when they bought timeshare. If we take you as a client, we will cancel your timeshare or we'll give your money back. That's what makes us different.
Call Wesley Financial Group now for a free information kit. 800-568-4433. That's 800-568-4433. 800-568-4433.
You've heard of James Gaddis Jewelers, but have you heard what they've done lately? Everything, a tremendous selection of diamonds and jewels and gold and silver and more. Lots of watches, tons of custom-made jewelry, diamonds, fine gemstones, bracelets, necklaces, so many choices. Romantics will love the one-of-a-kind estate and vintage jewelry. James Gaddis has experts in wedding and engagement rings, plus 2 repair experts for fine watches and jewelry. Layaway and financing available. Make this Valentine's Day unforgettable with a gift from James Gaddis Jewelers, 4900 Poplar.
I'm here interviewing Macaulay Williams, CEO of Big River Distilling Company here in Memphis. Macaulay, tell us about the uniqueness of your Blue Note Bourbon and Riverset Rye.
Well, Eli, both my products, Blue Note Bourbon and Riverset Rye, are produced right here in Memphis, Tennessee. The Blue Note Bourbon is a premium small batch blend, minimum age of 9 years, served at 93 proof. The Riverset Rye is a straight rye whiskey, also at 93 proof. It's a great spicy, herbaceous tone. It's great in cocktails.
Where can folks find the Blue Note Bourbon and Riverset Rye?
Both products can be found at any local liquor store here in Memphis and also at most bars and restaurants. Next time you're down the town, be sure to ask your bartender for a glass of Blue Note or Riverset.
And is there anywhere else that folks can get more information about your products?
Yeah, absolutely. At our website, BlueNoteBourbon.com or RiversetRye.com. Also, be sure to follow us on social media at Blue Note Bourbon or at Riverset Rye.
All right, well, that sounds great. I can't wait to try a bottle.
Yeah, Eli, I really appreciate the support, and hopefully you and your listeners can pick up a bottle today.
We could stay here forever. We deliver olives, Greek sandals, and everything you need to relive that perfect trip to the Mediterranean. But what you really get when FedEx knocks on your door is so much more.
FedEx delivery.
Memories. What we deliver by delivering.
One thing I really admire about Central Barbecue is their commitment to quality.
Then why do they let you do their commercials?
I'm talking about their food. Everything is prepared with devotion to taking the time and effort to create perfect barbecue.
Oh, I know. That's exactly why I was wondering why...
They're not kidding with that slow-smoked Memphis-style slogan. They smoke their pork for 14 hours. Do they have to? They do if they want to be the best barbecue in Memphis, and they are.
And yet they let you just throw together...
There's nothing better than Central Barbecue because they care.
Except apparently about their radio ads.
If you've always thought, hey, I'd look pretty good in Lexus, well, guess what? Lexus thinks so, too. Lexus is offering you the Golden Opportunity Sales Event. Great offers on all 2020 models and special lease options. Drive in luxury and confidence, knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by Lexus of Memphis, 2600 Ridgeway, and put yourself in the driver's seat of an all-new 2020 flagship LS500. Hey, you look pretty good there. Lexus Golden Opportunity Sales Event at Lexus of Memphis. Experience amazing.
Hey, how you doing? Educational videos, top quality, right here.
You'll never hear anyone selling education on the street.
Yo, what's up, baby? Wanna learn some history?
I got live learning, beautiful books inside.
And don't expect anyone to just offer you an education.
Who needs a high school diploma, huh?
And fortunately, you can't buy a diploma from some guy with a briefcase. But there is one way you can get the educational skills you and your family need for free, with free family learning programs. Call 1-877-FAMLET-1 for information on free GED, computer training classes, and other family learning programs. That's 1-877-FAMLIT-1.
Check it out, check it out. Win your GED right here, guaranteed, ma. Come on, check it out.
After all, you can't get your education on the street. Free family learning programs from the National Center for Family Literacy. The first step to a better life. Brought to you by the National Center for Family Literacy and the Ad Council.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Fox Sports Trending now.
Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson was a unanimous NFL MVP at the NFL Honors, which air on Fox tonight. He received all 50 votes, so the only other unanimous MVP was Tom Brady in 2010. The Defensive Player of the Year was Patriots defensive back Stephon Gilmore. Coach of the Year, Baltimore's John Harbaugh. Assistant of the Year in the NFL, Baltimore. Offensive Coordinator Greg Roman. Offensive Rookie of the Year, Arizona quarterback Kyler Murray. The Defensive Rookie of the Year, 49ers defensive end Nick Bosa. Into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, safeties Troy Polamalu and Steve Atwater. Also 3 others, running back Edgerrin James, wide receiver Isaac Bruce, and guard Steve Hutchinson. Whether you rent or own, Geico makes it easy to bundle home and auto insurance. Having a home is hard work, so get a quote at geico.com. Easy. I'm Steve DeSager.
We're continuing our Super Bowl 54 coverage. This
Damn, that felt good.
is Fox Sports Radio.
Yeah! Let's go!
From the teams, Chiefs, and 49ers to the best breakdowns.
Hey, I can just tell you right now, 57's firing.
Live from the Geico Fox Sports Radio studios with Telly Hughes. Here's Brian Noe.
Oh, what's going on, everybody? Brian Noe and Telly Hughes. I'll tell you what, Telly Hughes, I'm going to get into an in-depth interview with you.
Oh, boy.
Momentarily. I want to know your blood type. I want to know your astrology sign.
Oh, boy.
I want to know everything there is to know about you, Telly Hughes, a little bit
man.
later in the program.
Well, this was a pop quiz I wasn't ready for, so let me go ahead and start digging up while you get things going.
Okay, good. I know you'll be prepared for it. You'll knock it out of the park here for sure, but you know, it's crazy where there's so much stuff going on right now. And we'll get to the Kobe Bryant tribute last night for sure. But the Hall of Fame news, who has just been elected, and there's so much going on. It's crazy where the biggest game we have in sports, at least for today, is a bit of the, oh, by the way, yeah, there's a Super Bowl we got to get to and talk about, right? Do you feel the same way?
I really do. It seems like this was one of the years that they only took a week. Remember when they wanted to go back to not giving it 2 weeks in between the championship game and the Super Bowl? And they decided to go 1 week, and they tried to pack in all the hype in 1 week. And it seemed like it was just not enough time. But in this instance, it just seems like the 2 weeks just have flown by, and you haven't really heard a lot about the games. I mean, you know, there hasn't been anybody saying anything crazy. And I'm not saying that, you know, it has to be something like that or some sort of controversy. But the only thing you've heard about the Chiefs and 49ers are both teams are fully healthy, and they're going to play on Sunday.
Right.
I mean, you really haven't heard much else. And so, I mean, is it good? Is it bad? I'm not sure. I mean, you know, hopefully this will mean a really good game where it's a better game than the hype leading up to it.
Yeah, and I think it will be. The crazy thing is it would have to be one horrible game to be worse than the lack of hype leading up to it, you know? And you even think about the Chiefs going back to the AFC title game. Before that game against the Titans, that's when Tyreek Hill was like, yeah, I don't think anybody can guard us. And it was Frank Clark who was like, I don't think Derrick Henry's that hard to tackle. And it was like, whoa, wow. We haven't had anything even close to that heading into
close.
This game.
Yeah. It's amazing. And, I mean, unfortunately, you know, there was some news earlier, last Sunday that, you know, turned everyone's world, you know, upside down. But, I mean, even before that, it wasn't like – everyone was just like so hyped up about it. I mean, yes, of course, respective fans of the 49ers and Chiefs are super delighted to have their team in Miami. But I mean, the rest of the world, it was kind of like, we'll start getting excited on Thursday before the Sunday game,
Yeah, I will be elated when tomorrow rolls around and the game is here and you see the players warming up on the field. But it's certainly the 2 weeks leading up to the game, it's left a lot to be desired. I'll just say that much.
Yeah.
But how about this? The news today, Telly Hughes, the Hall of Fame class of 2020 for the NFL has been announced. And you go down the list, there's Troy Polamalu, Steve Atwater, so a couple of safeties get in. You got Edgerrin James, wide receiver Isaac Bruce, and the OG, Steve Hutchinson. Shout out to an offensive guard over there. I want to get your thoughts on this, Telly, because the first thing I think of, the first guy I heard that was getting into the Hall of Fame was Edgerrin James. And he had a great career, very distinguished career. But it made me think of this argument that I just absolutely despise. I hate the argument of, hey, can you tell the story of the league's history without this player, right? Exactly. You hear this a lot when it's Eli Manning. Can you tell the history of the game over the last 20 years if you don't mention Eli Manning? I hate that argument so bad because if you look at Edgerrin James, I could tell the history of the game without mentioning Edgerrin James. That doesn't mean he isn't a Hall of Famer, right? But it's just turned into, it's almost like a Sports Center evaluation where you've got to have these peak highlights that stand out where, well, we can't leave. We have to tell the story, including you. Therefore, you're a Hall of Famer. I just hate that way of thinking. Is it a Hall of Famer? Is it not? I just dislike that point of view.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's quite a bit much to carry because every player wasn't a transcendent player, but that doesn't mean they aren't Hall of Famers. And, I mean, you look at baseball. Can you tell the story of baseball without including Pete Rose? Right. Absolutely. They've been doing it, and it will continue to be done. In terms of, like, breaking down everyone's criteria as to being a Hall of Famer, I mean, there's only a couple, like, guys that were just super no-brainers, and then there's other ones that needed time to really have their career digest in people's system and compare them to their contemporaries. But I mean, I'm not too objective of anyone on this list because, I mean, every year there's going to be someone that you're kind of like, I'm not so sure, And I mean, I'm not saying that with this list, but I do have a problem with Troy Polamalu being a first ballot Hall of Famer and Terrell Owens wasn't. But that's going to happen every year. I'm going to compare that to everybody that's a first ballot Hall of Famer because I just thought that was just so jacked up. I mean, because that should have been numbers wise a far gone conclusion. And that's what I thought the game and the Hall of Fame was all about. What numbers you were able to put up and rack up throughout your career.
Right.
But, I think, a couple of guys that, I mean, if they were playing now, there'd be no doubt they would not get in the Hall of Fame, and that is Troy Polamalu and Steve Atwater because they both used to take people's heads off.
Yeah.
And you can't do that anymore. So, I mean, for Steve Atwater, he had to get in now because, I mean, as time goes on and people are more removed from the game it used to be, it would have been much tougher for him to get in.
Yeah, I'm Brian Noe. He's Telly Hughes. We're coming to you live from the Geico Fox Sports Radio studios. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com for a free rate quote. I was thinking about the safeties that you just mentioned there also, where if you look at Polamalu and Steve Atwater, really hard hitters,
Yeah.
And I just started thinking, I wonder if we're going to see a day and age not too long from now where safeties, they're not going to be the spitting image of Deion Sanders making business decisions because you can't play that position like that. But can you just have an emphasis on get the guy down instead of being heat-seeking missiles, right?
Yeah.
Where it's starting to take life off of your career. Think about Donovan Darius. He was a 10-year safety with the Jags, and he was popped for a DUI recently, and he was suicidal. Now, I have no idea if that has something to do with his NFL career or not, but when you're banging heads for 10 years, maybe it has something to do with it. You know what I'm saying? So I wonder if you're going to see safeties that they're just like, bring the guy down. You don't have to Bob Sanders it and throw your body around like crazy. You're taking years off of your lifespan, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's funny. I worked in Iowa when Bob Sanders went to the University of Iowa, and they literally have to hold him out of practice during the week because they didn't want him to hit anybody. Like, when's the last time a safety had on the red jersey? But, but he can't hit anybody and no one can hit him. But it's just the game is trending in such the opposite direction where, I mean, you're going to have to teach the fundamentals at a very early age of how to bring people down in a way that's not as violent. But, I mean, you mentioned Donovan Darius, about him having suicidal thoughts and stuff like that. I mean, make no mistake about it. There's no one in the NFL that is a normal human being. You have to be a little abnormal to play professional football. I mean, it is one of the most violent sports and violent ways to make a living.
It is. Absolutely it is. There's no doubt about that. By the way, the unanimous MVP, Lamar Jackson, got every one of the 50 votes. So he's the unanimous guy. And you know what? It's funny, man, because he joins Tom Brady. Tom Brady was the only other unanimous MVP. You go back to the 2010 season.
Yeah.
And a lot of people get freaked out about the unanimous thing. And it's like, whatever you want to say, if it's Steph Curry in the NBA when he was unanimous MVP, and you heard the arguments of Michael Jordan was a unanimous MVP and insert any of the former greats. It's like, you have to think of it this way. If you didn't vote for Steph Curry back then, if you didn't vote for Lamar Jackson this season, your argument is he didn't deserve it as much as the other guy. And that's a ridiculous stance to have.
And
so if it just so happens to be unanimous, so be it, right?
Right.
Yeah.
No, it's a great honor. I think that, it just really proves, and it's an honor for the moment because, 10 years from now, you're not going to be like, Lamar Jackson was the league MVP back in, the 1920 season, but he was a unanimous MVP. Like, I mean, yeah, it'll be more of a footnote, but you will remember the MVP. But, I mean, it's an exceptional honor, and I think it was well-deserved. I think, sometimes people just, once again, like you just mentioned, they don't want to vote for you just because they don't feel as though you are as worthy as someone that played the same game 20 years ago. And it was a totally different game back then. But, kudos to that guy. But just think, like, was it like even as up to week 4, week 5 that, people were talking about Russell Wilson being the MVP.
Oh, yeah.
And it just seemed like he just took off like, George Jetson or something, man. I mean,
I know it, right?
And it was like from week 10 on, like no one else was talking about anybody but, I mean, just remember also Christian McCaffrey. Everyone was talking about, him having the most all-purpose yards and he could be the guy that can be the MVP and yada, yada, yada. And, like the past, it seemed like 9-10 weeks, there's no other name surrounding the NFL MVP besides Lamar Jackson.
It's like the Fast and the Furious, where they just hit the nitro, right? And Lamar Jackson just distanced himself from everybody else.
Yeah.
But yeah, Russell had a great season. CMC, if he was on a better team, he would have gotten a lot more MVP consideration. There are a lot of great seasons, but Lamar with 36 touchdown passes, over 1,200 yards rushing, it was a no-brainer. I hate when people have a problem with the unanimous thing.
Yeah.
It's like Derek Jeter in the Hall of Fame. The one guy who didn't vote him in, his argument was, not a first ballot guy. That's a terrible argument. It's a horrible argument. So it's the same thing with
over
Lamar.
3,000 hits. Like, come on, man. Like, stop hating for real. Like, get that hate out of your blood, man.
I know it. And as many people in the NFL, as many players, Russell Wilson, on and on, had great seasons. It was clearly Lamar Jackson. He was the guy. If he happens to be unanimous, so be it. And I don't know why people are so freaked out about that.
And it's not like it wasn't a consensus. I think if you went in any locker room in any city in the NFL and asked every player, who do you think is the league MVP? I'm sure, 9.5 out of 10 would say Lamar Jackson. I mean, you may have some guys that, will have some allegiances to maybe their quarterback in specific locker rooms. But, I mean, deep down inside, they know what's up.
They do. They absolutely do. All right, we got a lot of ground to cover tonight. Coming up next from the Geico Studios, we have criticism for the criticism. That's right.
Oh,
That's
boy.
Around the corner. I'm Brian Noe. He's Telly Hughes. This is Fox Sports Radio.
You've seen our set.
Live in Miami.
You heard our talent.
To celebrate Super Bowl 54.
And you know we had the biggest names.
Please welcome one of our favorites.
Yep, we took over South Beach during Super Bowl 54.
Thanks for hanging out with us.
Let's go.
We're Fox Sports Radio.
Hey, it's Ben Maller. Do you own or rent a home? Of course you do. I know you do. And I bet it can be hard work. You know what's easy? Bundling policies with Geico. Geico makes it easy to bundle your homeowners or renters insurance along with your auto policy. It's a good thing, too. Why? Because you already have so much to do around your home. Go to geico.com, get a quote, and see how much you could save. It's Geico easy. Visit geico.com today. That's geico.com.
Excuse me, Captain. This is your wake-up call from the new TracFone Wireless.
What's that now?
What if you had to fly this plane while sitting back in the cabin?
I wouldn't have any control.
Well, that's what it's like going with some wireless companies, but TracFone Wireless gives you control. Get unlimited talk and text on America's best 4G LTE network starting at $20 a month, no contract, plus unlimited carryover data with active service.
That's cool, but how'd you get in my cockpit?
This is your wake-up call, people. The new TracFone Wireless. Now you're in control. Available at major retailers. See terms and conditions at TracFone.com.
The following is a true story.
I had a lady that was in her mid-70s, and I'd sold her timeshare, and that was the lowest I'd ever felt in my life. I knew then that I had to do something to simply not to go to hell for selling timeshare.
Chuck McDowell founded Wesley Financial Group to help folks cancel their timeshares permanently.
Called her and everybody that I'd sold timeshare to, and I said, this is what I said to you that was a lie, and this is what you need to do to cancel your timeshare. From that point, people started referring friends to me to help them cancel the timeshare, and that's how it all started. I fought the world's largest timeshare company in federal court. If I had lost that lawsuit, there would be no one helping people that have been lied to when they bought timeshare. If we take you as a client, we will cancel your timeshare or we'll give your money back. That's what makes us different.
Call Wesley Financial Group now for a free information kit. 800-568-4433. That's 800-568-4433. 800-568-4433.
At Jason's Deli, you can stuff yourself full of great deli food that's healthy, fresh, and best of all, it's not expensive. Jason's Deli is all about choice. Whether you're looking for a gluten-free menu, vegetarian sandwiches, healthy kids' meals, or if you'd like to invent your sandwich via the build-your-own selections, Jason's Deli has you covered. And they only use fresh, wholesome ingredients. Choose from the club and specialty sandwiches, paninis, wraps, soups, salads, pastas, and much more. I love the cleanliness in the restaurant, the hospitality, and of course the cost. They have a huge salad bar and great soups, including Southwest chicken chili, fire roasted tortilla, organic vegetable, tomato basil, and many, many more. And if you're planning an event, their catering department is fantastic and can handle any size party. Go check out Jason's Deli's 4 locations. On Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, that's my favorite, on Germantown Parkway in Cordova, at Poplar and Highland, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch.
Hi, I'm Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. Do you have any idea why I never speak the way I am right now? It's because if you're honest, sincere, and knowledgeable, you do not need fast-talking, high-energy, gimmick-promising advertising to get a customer's attention. Speaking of that, how do you think companies can offer huge rebates and giveaways when you use their services or buy their products? By overcharging you in the first place, that's how. Fiveash Roofing doesn't operate that way. It's misleading and dishonest. When I provide a customer with the best products and the best service possible and do it at a fair price, why would I need gimmicks to sell it? Best products, best warranties, and best service possible. That's all we offer. Well, that and financing. 5 Roofing, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Memphis Tigers home team. 5 Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5 Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
At Victory Auto Sales, that's victoryauto.org. We always ask our customers what they want most in a used car.
I want a car that runs when I turn the key. Don't want my appointment over there just waiting on me. Buddy. Throw away the cable. You'll never be late. With one of our cars because they are just darn great. I want a car that runs down the road, that doesn't leave me stranded while it's getting towed. I want brakes on my car so I can stop when I'm driving too fast and when I see a cop.
They want a car that starts. They want a car that runs. They want a car that stops. Victory Auto Sales, 901-380-5800. That's victoryauto.org. Check us out. We are at 4885 Elmore, just off Covington Pike. In-house financing, of course. Generous credit approval. Of course. Don't forget to ask about our layaway. That's victoryauto.org, 901-380-5800. Fill out the credit app online or come by or give us a call, 901-380-5800.
You're scrambling around. You need a haircut. Where you gonna go? I got a place that has 15 locations. I've got a place where details matter. I've got a place that can be invigorating and relaxing at the same time. You know what it is? It's Supercuts. Every haircut ends with the signature hot towel finish. Every haircut matters. When you're getting ready, you go into Supercuts. The stylist will pay attention to every detail. So you get the haircut you want, and of course, you're going to finish with that signature hot towel. You walk out clean, sharp, and not just ready, but super ready. And you might want to ask that hairstylist about what the tea tree experience is. One part invigorating, one part relaxing. The tea tree experience is something you need to try. 15 locations. I mentioned that, didn't I? All you've got to do is go to supercuts.com. You'll find the one nearest to you. Get super ready at Supercuts.
There are so many ways to like us.
Let's go to the stat sheet.
Following us on Twitter at Fox Sports Radio.
I like them a lot.
Listening on iHeartRadio.
I like it tight.
Listening right here.
We're here about the truth.
Podcasting. The list goes on and on.
I like how you took that to its extreme.
And this is why you like us.
This is why.
We don't tie you down.
Good for you. I like that.
So be free and find that listening side piece.
And with that,
we are Fox Sports Radio.
Use, some getting to know you type stuff. I want to know more about you, Telly. I'm going to put you on the stand.
Oh, boy. Come on, you got to lead me. So which direction?
I will.
Well, it all started back in this manger. No, I'm just kidding.
I'll lead you in a few minutes for sure. But I wanted to get your thoughts on this because last night it was the first game for the Lakers after the passing of Kobe Bryant, which was tragic. And so there are a lot of emotions in the building. I thought that LeBron did a great job with the speech before the game. And there was some criticism for Carmelo Anthony because Melo was close friends with Kobe. Melo elected not to play in the game. And there were a lot of fans that were highly critical of Carmelo, saying, hey, you got to man up, and Kobe would have wanted you to play, and those sorts of things. I just look at it, Telly, where we grieve differently, Yeah. And if Melo is just like, look, man, I got to sit this one out. I'm not going to be able to get through it. I think you got to appreciate that. I don't have any problem with him sitting out a game like that. And especially, you want to talk about a jerk move to go at Melo, like, what are you doing? You got to man up. If there's ever not a time to do that, it's right here, right now, when he's grieving the loss of one of his close friends. I just thought that was the wrong way to go about it.
And the same person that was going at Carmelo would take off work if they sneeze. And be like, oh my gosh, I can't be around other people. I'll contaminate it. And you want to talk about someone else not toughing it out. Yeah. You brought up a great point. People grieve differently. And you got to be careful because you start to get on a slippery slope when everyone starts to say what Kobe would have wanted.
Yeah,
right. I don't think we all know everything that someone would have wanted. We can think that's what he would want. But, people grieve differently. And who knows, by the time Carmelo wanted to play. He probably wanted to play very badly. But if he walked into Staples and there was just a chair that he remembers like they were sitting on and he was talking the last time he was there, like you don't know how that moves different people and how crushing that could be for him. And so, I mean, and to be in the house that, Kobe basically built. So, I mean, you can't really just fault a guy because he didn't have it in him. I mean, there's some other guys that, I mean, no one said anything about Kyrie when he first found out.
Right.
I mean, he was at Madison Square Garden and just walked out. So, I mean, people grieve differently, and, I mean, you have to be very careful as to be critical of how someone grieves. I mean, some people like to dive completely into their work to, kind of, absorb the pain that, someone's passing may have caused, and others.
Or distract them.
Yeah.
Sure.
And others, they want to, go through that process and go through the different stages of grieving. And I mean, for Carmelo, it just wasn't the time for him to play. And if the Blazers didn't have a problem with it, neither should whoever is being critical of it.
Yeah. And it's a good point about, I've heard a lot and I've seen a lot on social media as if people knew Mamba personally, where Kobe would have wanted you to be out there. Are we discounting the possibility that Kobe might have been like, yeah, I could see why he would take a game off? Right? Right. How is that just dismissed? That's not even a possibility. There's no way he would say something like that. I think it's very possible that he would have said something like that. And let's not forget that Melo, the last conversation he had with Kobe, they had talked about Kobe being at the game last night. Think how heavy that is for Melo. That's going to be running through his mind if he was on the floor last night. So I just think you got to take the high road on that one and not crush a guy who's grieving differently than you might grieve.
And you have two empty chairs with roses on them. And if you knew that he was supposed to be sitting there, and every time you run up and down the court, you can't help but fixate your eyes over there and think about him not being there. And it's not just him not being there tonight.
Yeah.
That's heavy, man.
It's very heavy. And you know what's weird, too, is I don't know why the thought process is like this when it comes to professional athletes. It's like we want them to be, I guess our standards of what we want them to be are sometimes irrational, Or let's just put it into our world. If it's a radio show, if my best friend died a couple of days before this show, if I said, listen, man, I want to be there, I want to do the show, I just can't.
Yeah.
I'm going to open my mouth, I'm going to start breaking down. I can't do the show. I don't think people would be like, you're weak. What are you doing? You got to suck it up. I think they would understand that. But for some reason with basketball, I think that a lot of fans think you can just shelf that and go out there. And that's just not practical.
Yeah. I mean, they think they are subhuman. And I recall, unfortunately, my mom passed before the 2017 season. And I mean, this was a person that I would speak to after every pregame show, and we'll get in a little later about, some of my past. But, my most recent position was the sideline reporter and pre- and post-game show host for the Milwaukee Bucks. And I used to talk to my mom after every pregame show. So the first game, and as the games went on, after the pregame show, I wouldn't have anyone to call, and it was different. But I knew that when I was on the air and it was time to work, I had to do a job. But, no one knew how it was affecting me. And so it just goes to show that you never know what someone may be going through based off of how they move around. And so, you may look at these athletes as being, subhuman, but I think, I was thinking about this, and I know, we've been, doing so much about Kobe, throughout this entire past week, and rightfully so. But it's just, you're always taught that, hey, you can have it all. but it could be taken away from you just like that. And this is like the most poignant example of that, because a lot of times when you hear that, you don't know of anybody that has it all and it was taken away from them. But, in this instance, this is exactly, you're looking at a guy who seemed to have had it all. And and everyone talks about, his life being cut short. But was it really cut short? Because his 41 years, what he was able to, he lived a full life in 41 years. Yeah. Kobe accomplished things that people lived to 100 couldn't have ever accomplished. Yeah. And so, yes, it seems short to us because, and I'm sure his family, because yes, everyone wants, him to be around and his girls to be around to, however age, but you don't think 41, it would be it, and 13, it would be it. But, you have to look at what they were able to do in that lifespan, and Kobe was able to accomplish, like, all of his dreams plus some in those 41 years.
Yeah, and I'm like you. It's a tragic story, there's no doubt, but you try to look for the positives that are maybe hidden in there. And I agree with you. For a guy who lived to be 41, he lived a full 41. There's no doubt about that.
Unbelievable.
And also, I look at it, too, where I think it's awesome that he was there for his daughters. And the way that I look at it, where if Kobe had two options, and again, I don't know the guy personally, but my hunch is this. If he had two options, which was you could live a lot longer, but not be involved with your daughters, or you could be involved with them heavily and live until you're 41, I don't think he's changing that. I don't think he's changing the fact that he was part of his daughter's lives. So that's how I look at it, too. And, as tragic as it is, it's a way to look at it, and it lessens just the tragic aspect to a degree, if you will.
Yeah.
Sort of like what you're saying about the full 41. He did. He lived a full 41, man.
Yes, he did. He sure did.
All right, we're going to get to the life and times of Telly Hughes right around the corner. But first, a friend of America, Steve DeSager, to spin us around the sporting world. What's going on, Steve?
Hello, gentlemen. We have great football news tonight. Of course, the NFL Honors Evening, Fox TV, and yes, it is on tape delayed for the whole country, so wait for your time zone, but we'll tell you in advance. Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson was named unanimous NFL MVP. Got all 50 votes. Defensive Player of the Year, Patriots defensive back Stephon Gilmore. He got 21 votes to 14 for Chandler Jones, 10 votes for T.J. Watt. Coach of the Year, Baltimore's John Harbaugh. He defeated Kyle Shanahan of San Francisco, 27.5 to 14.5 votes. And the Assistant of the Year from Baltimore, Offensive Coordinator Greg Roman. He got 41 of 50 votes.
The West Coast gets screwed on this one, Steve DeSager.
Oh, even more
we
than
even
usual.
have the Assistant Coach of the Year revealed before the awards go on the West Coast.
It's just they used to be, I think, live in the East and then 3 hours later here. Now they just held it in the afternoon. It's tape delayed for everybody. Who cares? Okay. So thanks on behalf of the country. Into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, safeties Troy Polamalu and Steve Atwater. Also wide receiver Isaac Bruce and guard Steve Hutchinson. Running back Edgerrin James gets in. He was drafted number 4 overall out of the University of Miami by the Colts about 20 years ago. He had 5 straight 1,000-yard seasons mid-career, and that included back-to-back 1,500-yard seasons, and those still weren't his 2 best seasons. His 2 best were his first 2 seasons in the NFL, when he ran for nearly 3,300 yards, just his first 2 years in the NFL. According to the stats people at Elias Sports Bureau, the only NFL player with more rushing yards his first 2 seasons in the league was Eric Dickerson, and that was nearly 4,000 yards his first 2 seasons. To the NBA scoreboard, third quarter, the Heat leading at Orlando 68-58. It's mid-third quarter with the Knicks winning a game. It's 56-50 at Indiana, even though All-Star Domantas Sabonis does have 19 points. The Clippers won at home today against Minnesota, 118-106. Minnesota has lost 11 games in a row. And the Golden State Warriors, who've lost 5 straight, are in action, trailing late first quarter at Cleveland, 32-29. Cleveland entering with a 13-36 mark, and still not as bad as Golden State this year. The Warriors are 10-39. Boston about to host Philadelphia. Kemba Walker of the Celtics out at least 2 games due to a sore knee. He averages 22 points per game. Tony Finau has a 1-stroke lead at the Phoenix Open. The Australian Open men's tennis final is late tonight, and plenty more upsets in college basketball. That's just par for the course this year. Now, we'll start with number 1 Baylor, which did win its 18th straight, 68-52 over TCU. Number 2 Gonzaga edged San Francisco 83-79, but Creighton won at number 8 Villanova. Xavier won at number 10 ranked Seton Hall. Stanford has upset number 11 Oregon. Wisconsin beat number 14 Michigan State. Providence won at number 16 Butler. Cincinnati has beaten number 21 Houston. Tulsa hit a 3-pointer at the buzzer to edge number 23 Wichita State. And at Madison Square Garden, Michigan beat number 25 Rutgers. So you can just put those balls with the numbers on it, and like your local lotto, just pull them out at random. And those are your top 25 in college basketball, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe that'll mean a great and upset-filled NCAA tournament, which is not that far away, guys. This is February the 1st tonight. Back to you.
I think, Telly, when you fill out your bracket this year, anything goes. As many upsets as there are, just start picking which nickname you think is cooler. Which climate is better? Just nothing basketball related. Just start throwing stuff against the wall.
Their uniforms.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's what you get. Like whose mascot could beat up the other mascot, that sort of thing. We're coming to you live from the Geico Fox Sports Radio studios. It's easy to save 15% or more on car insurance with Geico. Go to geico.com or call 800-947-AUTO. The only hard part, figuring out which way is easier. I'm Brian Noe. He's Telly Hughes. By the way, one other random thought I had with Steve's update. The Warriors, with the worst record, how many people do you think bet big on the Warriors as far as the over team win total this season?
Oh, God.
Because they still had Steph and Draymond. They traded for D'Angelo Russell, and they've got the worst record in basketball. Can you imagine?
It's amazing. And just think about, this is the year they christened a shiny, brand new arena.
Yes.
You want to talk about bad timing? And let's look at another organization that just recently opened a brand new arena. The Milwaukee Bucks. In their first season in their new arena, they had the best record in the NBA.
Yeah.
So you want to talk about a perfect storm, one really good and one really not so good.
And the MVP, right?
Yes,
and
the MVP.
Yeah. Yeah, that's those are polar opposites right there. And all we heard was, man, ticket prices are going to soar if you want to see the Warriors. Get them just suck into the high heavens this season.
And you know what the people, who's sitting back getting a nice kick out of this? The people in Oakland. They're like, you know what? You should have never took our boys, man. Everything was cool when you're over here. You could have built or rebuilt Oracle Arena, but no, we want to take some of that Silicon Valley money, put you next to the Giant Stadium and prime real estate and, get all these bougie fans there.
That's right. You're absolutely right about that. There's no doubt. Okay, so a little bit of getting to know you as far as Telly Hughes with us this evening. All right, so give me something else, Telly. Just anything. Doesn't have to be sports related. Where's your hometown? Where are you from?
That's a pretty interesting story. Okay, I'm from East St. Louis, Illinois.
Get out of here. My dad is from Alton, Illinois.
Oh, wow. The Redbirds.
Yes, go Cardinals.
The Red
Absolutely.
Turds, as we used to call them.
Oh, really? You're anti-Cardinals, Telly?
No, I grew up a big Cardinal fan. I was a baseball player, played baseball in college at Illinois State. I was a pitcher, but interesting enough, I went to the same high school as LaFonso Ellis and Jackie Jonah Kersey.
Well, I'm originally from South Bend, Indiana, and so I remember after a Notre Dame game, I went on the floor, and LaFonso was probably like 4 times my size.
Yeah, he was.
And I went up to Fonz and
man.
just kind of tapped him on the chest, good game, Fonz. Fonz was awesome.
Oh,
yes,
he was great, man. And he was before me. And Darius Miles used to come to my high school games.
Okay, really?
Mom,
Wow, nice.
His mom was our bus driver for road trips.
Did he steal how he hit his forehead a couple of times with his fists? Did he steal that from you?
No. I can't take credit for that one, man.
Because it was with Quentin, right?
It was with Quentin Richardson, yeah.
Yeah.
And they were boys. They played AAU together. They're both from Illinois. Quentin's from Chicago. Darius from East St. Louis.
Wow, that's crazy, man. Okay.
Yeah,
All right,
yeah.
from the
So,
St. Louis area.
yeah. So originally from there, and fast forward to now, I've been in television and radio for almost 20 years, and most recently was the Milwaukee Bucks sideline pre- and post-game show host, and amongst the numerous other things, and now out here in L.A.
Awesome, man.
There you
that's
go.
really cool. Yeah. It's funny, man, because you got a great voice. Great voice.
Oh,
you know?
thank you. It didn't always work out for me. I had this voice when I was 12, so imagine calling a little girl and that's in your class and the dad answers the phone. They're like, hey, how old are you?
Yeah.
Like, I promise we're in chemistry together, I swear.
It kind of sounds like, and Bobo, help me out with this, the Petey Pablo song. Is it Freak-a-Leak? Right?
Do you want it in the water? Do you want
Yes.
it in the
Yeah, you kind of sound like Petey Pablo before the song kicks in a little bit.
Hey, all I'm sitting here is like, how did he cry? Like, when he got in trouble, how was it?
Silently.
Leave me alone.
All right, coming up next in the Geico Studios, we'll have more getting to know Telly Hughes throughout the program. Little pit
Hey, there's
stops
not
here.
much more about me,
That's
man.
it? That's the resume right there?
I did skip over a lot of years, but some of it may not be ready for
you
radio.
married? Like, what's up?
Yeah, we'll get to some of that stuff for sure. I know there's more on the resume here, Telly, for sure. But right around the corner, a currently unemployed NFL player kind of narrows it down. He's in the news doing an interview. We'll react to that. I'm Brian Noe. He's Telly Hughes. This is Fox Sports Radio.
Your fingers and thumbs are fast.
Fast and physical now. Let's go as fast as we can.
So put those bad boys to work.
Let's go. Let's go to work.
At Fox Sports Radio. Interact with us on Twitter before, during, and after your Super Bowl 54th Sunday.
It's the NFL. I love it.
That's at Fox Sports Radio.
At Quicken Loans, our 17,000 team members know that home is so much more than a house. That's because our clients tell us all the time. Hey, this is Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans, and we want to help you save money on your mortgage with some of the lowest refinancing rates ever. Rates are historically low. You may be able to reduce your rate and save money on your monthly mortgage payment right now. Pay off some credit card debt or put some money towards that new bathroom or kitchen you've always wanted. The rate today on our 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 3.99%. APR 4.23%. That's right, 3.99%. While we can't predict what will happen in the future, we do know that rates have dropped and now is the time to save money on your mortgage. Call us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com to learn how refinancing now may be the right mortgage solution for you. That's 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com.
Rates subject to change. Pay 2% fee to receive this discounted rate. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. And MLS number.
If you're going on vacation, making a college campus visit, or if business takes you out of town, there's just no better place to board your dog than Barks and Recreation, 965 Reddick Cove between Bud Davis Cadillac and the Blue Plate Cafe in East Memphis. Boarding, daycare, grooming, we have the best of everything at Barks. Indoor-outdoor kennels so your family member can go in and out as they please. Indoor and outdoor play areas. 4 walks a day. Group play and individual attention from the best staff in the Mid-South, which includes an overnight staff to ensure the safety and comfort of your pet 24 hours a day. All reasons to choose Barks and Recreation above all other boarding and daycare facilities. BarksDaycare.com or 509-0909. Check us out and make your reservations now at BarksDaycare.com. If your dog could speak, he'd say Barks.
Upon official review, the ruling on the field stands. First down.
We deliver jerseys, funny foam fingers, and everything you need to get ready for the game. But what you really get when FedEx knocks on your door is so much more.
FedEx Delivery.
Game day spirit. What we deliver by delivering.
There's a new commissary in town in Collierville. Germantown Commissary is doubling. Yeah, they're still going to have the old Germantown commissary by the tracks, but now there's a huge new Germantown commissary in Collierville at Poplar and Houston Levee Road. It's huge, too. There's a drive-through. There's plenty of parking, no telephone pole to get in your way, a cool patio. It's right by the track, so the tradition continues. And this is a tradition that's been around forever. That commissary is famous for hickory-smoked, slow-cooked Memphis-style barbecue. They've got a private party room at the new one in Collierville. Self-catering still continues. Party packs for $5.95. Basically, the great ribs, the great pulled shoulder, the great deviled eggs. Everything is there in Collierville and Germantown now. So there is now a Germantown and Collierville style of barbecue. It's called Germantown Commissary.
Hi, I'm Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. Can anyone explain to me why anyone would care how I measure your roof? We have all heard about measuring your roof from outer space. Well, to be honest, there are aerial pictures that are taken every 4 years that can be used to measure a building, but it's not from outer space. Besides, no one, and I mean no one, can tell you what's wrong with your roof or even if you need one by using pictures that might be 4 years old. If you would rather do business with a family-owned and operated business with a lifelong tie to Memphis that refuses to mislead or use gimmicks, please give me a call. Best products, best warranties, and the best customer service we know how to provide. Fiveash Roofing, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Memphis Tigers home team. Fiveash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
If you've always thought, hey, I'd look pretty good in a Lexus, well, guess what? Lexus thinks so too. Lexus is offering you the Golden Opportunity Sales Event. Great offers on all 2020 models and special lease options. Drive in luxury and confidence, knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by Lexus of Memphis, 2600 Ridgeway, and put yourself in the driver's seat of an all-new 2020 flagship LS500. Hey, you look pretty good there. Lexus Golden Opportunity Sales Event at Lexus of Memphis. Experience amazing.
There are so many ways that you can get this talent. There's radio.
You can stick with us on radio.
Podcast.
Everything you hear, we podcast it.
Streaming.
Listen on demand anytime you want.
YouTube.
And don't forget,
Twitter at Fox Sports Radio.
Got some tweets I want to get to.
Oh, there's Asking Alexa or Google Play.
So blame it on that damn social media.
There's so many ways.
I feel like Oprah. You get the show. You get the show. You get the show.
We're audio and we're all over the place.
We're all set.
We're Fox Sports Radio. FS1.
Please me, baby.
One. To find FS1 on your television, go to foxsports.com for details. FS1.
Are you tired of staring at that dent? At Mako, getting collision repaired is as easy as book, quote, fix. Come to Mako for a collision repair backed by our best price guarantee. Uh-oh? Better get Mako.
I'm Brian Noe. He's Telly Hughes here on Fox Sports Radio. We're coming to you from the Geico Studios. Top of the hour. We'll get to some of the Super Bowl 54 stuff. There's a lot of angles to get to with that one, Telly. And it's crazy because it's such a great matchup, but it's like, it's 2 weeks, right? Like, you got to pace yourself on this one. But it is tomorrow, so we'll get into that. I wanted to touch on Antonio Brown with you, Telly, because Antonio Brown did a sit-down interview with ESPN's Josina Anderson, and some of it was pretty interesting. Here's the first portion of what Antonio had to say.
Do you feel like you owe anybody in the NFL an apology?
I think I owe the whole NFL apology and my past behavior. You know, I think I could have done a lot of things better.
Okay, I would agree with that. Telly, I think you would amen that one as well.
No, I think he's made the right decisions in every stop he made over the last 9 months.
Yeah. What is he talking about? He's been a model citizen over here. Yeah.
Oh my God. This is like the launch off for the redemption tour for Antonio Brown. The league has told him that he's going to have to go get some mental help, and this is step one to try to clean up his image. And next thing you know, Drew Rosenhaus is going to re-sign him and say, hey, he's taking the proper steps, and he is now a better person, a.k.a. the NFL is going to reinstate him, and I can start getting my money again. That's what that means.
Yep, that's exactly right. This is the second portion. Pretty interesting, talking about CTE. If
I had
anything
CTE,
to do.
I wouldn't be able to have this beautiful gym. I wouldn't be able to be creative. I wouldn't be able to,
Oh, you might have the early, there's early stages, AB, just to be clear.
I ain't Aaron Hernandez. I'm perfectly fine,
Okay.
I ain't take that many big hits. I had one big hit in 10 years. Anybody who play this game, they going to get hit hard. That's a part of the game.
Okay. So Josina threw it out there. It's CTE, maybe. Is there anything going on mentally? And AB's like, no, nothing. I'm good.
You know what that sounds like? That sounded like the friend that's drunk that's trying to convince you they're not drunk. Dude, I'm not drunk. Look at me, man. For real.
Yeah. I can drive. I can drive.
I can say for real 2 times in a row, and that proves for real, dude. For real.
Uh-huh.
It's come on, man. Everyone else is seeing this, and it is essentially a cry out for help. And you're going to sit here and say, oh, no, I'm perfectly fine. So perfectly fine people do all the things that you've been doing.
Well, I think that he's certainly not perfectly fine, but it might not be because of CTE. I think both can be true, right? I don't know what's off with him, but I don't know necessarily that it is CTE. Because, listen, he played in the NFL for a long time. We understand that, head-to-head collisions happen, and that's not great for your brain. And to his
Typically
credit,
not.
I think to his credit, he's not using that as a crutch or an excuse, because I was wondering, this goes back months ago, I'm like, I wonder if he throws it out there as an excuse at some point, where it's like, hey, I have been playing in the NFL for a long time, and maybe it has something to do with my behavior. But he went the opposite way and said, no, I'm good.
And here's the other thing about it, Brian. We're giving you that excuse, man.
Yeah.
We're giving you a pass. You can't work at the bank and then do some crazy stuff and then be like, you know what? I think I might have early stages of CTE. It's like, no, you made a series of bad decisions. And that's what you have done. You've made a series of bad decisions. And we are saying maybe you might want to be evaluated for it, but you don't want to be evaluated for it because you're afraid of what they may find.
Yeah. And that's the crazy part of this, too. I was talking to Ephraim Salam, and we used to do a show together, and I threw it out there. This is, I don't know, a handful of weeks ago. I'm like, are you surprised that AB hasn't just sort of peddled it out there where I might have CTE? I don't know. And Ephraim was like, no, because he doesn't think what he's doing is wrong.
Yeah.
And this is, you're right, it's a complete PR spin. It's just someone on his management side is like, dude, get in front of the media, say you're sorry, say you're wrong, take accountability, all of those things. That's all this is, but we've seen this before. We've been through this before with AB. He'll say the right thing, he'll do the wrong thing. So it's not about words, it's about actions.
This is the same guy who, let's just take one of the most minor things he's done recently. He had a tryout for a playoff-bound team the week before they were about to start the postseason. They brought you in. Yeah. You decide to come with a camera crew to film this. You have an entourage. And
After they asked you not to do that.
And then when the trial is over, you accuse them of this being a publicity stunt.
I know.
It's like, you know what? Oh, it was just all a publicity stunt. So why would Sean Payton just wake up like, you know what? Man, I want to spice things up around here, man.
Yeah.
Let's bring AB in here.
They're talking about the Cowboys too much. Forget that. Yeah.
Like, how can you say it was a publicity stunt when you're doing it? Like, come on.
I know.
So, I hope he does take the necessary steps, and I hope that his last, legal confrontation, that resulted in him wearing an ankle monitor for about a week or so, and him still being out on bail. But this is your time to slow down. Because they're doing this to make sure that you don't do something worse than this. Yeah. And just take that opportunity to think about that. You have people that's genuinely trying to help you, because you clearly haven't had the right people in your corner telling you, you might not want to go outside and curse out the police, man. Right. You might not want to do that. Just think about it for a second.
I know, right? It's crazy because it was just Goodell this week where he was like, we just hope he's okay, right? Like when the commissioner is like, we're not worried about him getting back to the NFL just yet. We want to make sure he's okay. Let's start with that.
Exactly. Once again, Brian, he is not displaying normal behaviors.
Yeah. No, not at all. And that's the other part is, you know what? AB works his butt off. He still works out daily, all the time. And I don't know if it's as simple as saying, AB, the way you're behaving, it would be like not working out anymore. Like how that would hurt your pursuit of getting to the NFL. That's the equivalent of what you're doing, acting a fool, yelling at the cops or whatever else you got going on here.
It is so mind-blowing. But, once again, hopefully he gets the help that he needs and he deserves, and he can continue his NFL career. Because he is still one of the most dynamic wide receivers in the NFL.
We got something cryptic next.
I'm Chris Riccobono, founder of Untuck It. I started Untuck It because, like a lot of other guys, I just couldn't find a shirt that looked great untucked. That's why we created the perfect untucked shirt with that just right length. We have over 50 fits for all shapes and sizes, so you can look sharp even at your most casual. Try the original Untucked shirt at one of 85 Untuck It stores worldwide or at untuckit.com. Untuck It, shirts designed to be worn untucked.
Use promo code WINTER for 20% off your first purchase. That's promo code WINTER.
When Allstate agents and employees go to work every day, their number one priority is protecting what matters most to you. For military veterans, that instinct to protect also comes naturally. No wonder thousands of veterans build good careers with Allstate. And now, Allstate is ranked the number one employer on the 2020 Military Friendly Employers list. You're in good hands with Allstate.
For career opportunities or to get a quote, contact Allstate today. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, North.
I loved playing high school sports. I loved the competition, the camaraderie, the bands, the crowds, all the pageantry, and I wanted to keep playing. But I graduated. No colleges called, and neither did the pros. So, to stay close to the game I loved, I decided to become a high school official. A referee. When I played high school sports, I learned the importance of integrity, good sportsmanship, and respect for the rules. Now, as a high school official, I get to help model these same values to others. Maybe the colleges and the pros didn't call, but the kids in Tennessee did. And now, I'm enjoying the competition, the camaraderie, the bands, the crowds, and all the pageantry of high school sports all over again.
Interested in becoming a licensed high school official? Go to highschoolofficials.com to learn more and begin the application process.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kristen Bell, and I invited you here to my hotel room to talk about your cheeks. Your big, beautiful cheeks. Get your mind out of the gutter. I'm talking about swabbing them. Did you guys know that each year 20,000 Americans with blood cancer are searching for their life-saving marrow match? Can you even believe that? People need marrow, you guys, and we have it. So here's how we can help. It's really, really simple. All you have to do is swab your cheek, this cheek. Then go to Gift of Life Marrow Registry. It's so easy, anyone can do it. And in case you're wondering, if you're a match, donating, it's a lot easier than you think. So wherever you are, go ahead and swab that cheek. Go to giftoflife.org and get a free kit sent to your home, or find a donor drive in your area so that you can swab a cheek and save a life. It's only a minute of your time, but it can give someone else the rest of their life.
Hannah complained of a headache. It was a rhabdomyosarcoma. Within a few days, Hannah was in treatment because we were told that the tumor was very aggressive. And it very quickly became clear that St. Jude was the ultimate place to be. So we've essentially put our lives in South Africa on hold. Incredibly blessed to be here. St. Jude is an asset to the world. And the research that is developed here is offered freely to the rest of the medical world. The entire way that the place operates is just to give and to care. I think it's the kind of place that not only stands as a beacon for pediatric cancer, but I think it could teach the world a couple of lessons about how to treat people. And I think if those lessons could be learned, even in their most basic form, this world could be a better place.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Hey, remember that one? That was big in the 60s, back when gas was like 30 cents a gallon, a house $22,000, cigarettes $1/4 a pack. But the packs came with a warning from the U.S. Surgeon General. Cigarette smoking causes lung cancer. Hey, it proved to be right. Music's changed, and so have prices. Gas is almost $3 a gallon. A decent house costs $250,000, and a pack of cigarettes is about $5. But now, there's another cancer warning from the U.S. Surgeon General. Radon causes lung cancer. And radon can cause lung cancer whether you smoke or not. Radon is an invisible, odorless gas that seeps into your home from underground. The only way to know if you have high levels of radon in your home is to have your home tested. The U.S. Surgeon General recommends it. Radon problems can be fixed. To learn more, call 1-800-SOS-RADON. 1-800-SOS-RADON or click on epa.gov/radon. From this station and the U.S. EPA.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Fox Sports Trending now.
The Super Bowl is tomorrow on Fox TV. Into the Pro Football Hall of Fame named tonight safeties Troy Polamalu and Steve Atwater, also running back Edgerrin James, wide receiver Isaac Bruce, and guard Steve Hutchinson. Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson was a unanimous NFL MVP. The Defensive Player of the Year, Patriots DB Stephon Gilmore. Coach of the Year, Baltimore's John Harbaugh. To college basketball, final seconds before halftime, number 9 Duke leads 38-36 at Syracuse. Number 1 Baylor won its 18th straight game, beating TCU 68-52. Number Gonzaga barely won at San Francisco 83-79. Third-ranked Kansas edged Texas Tech 78-75. To the NBA, under 9 minutes to go, the Knicks are leading at Indiana 78-76. Halftime, Warriors are winning at Cleveland 61-59. Clippers beat Minnesota. I'm Steve DeSager.
We are Fox Sports. We're continuing our Super Bowl 54 coverage. This
that felt good.
is Fox Sports Radio.
Yeah! Let's go!
From the teams, Chiefs, and 49ers to the best breakdowns.
Hey, I can just tell you right now, 57's firing.
Live from the Geico Fox Sports Radio studios with Telly Hughes. Here's Brian Noe.
What's going on, everybody? Hope you're enjoying your Saturday evening. Brian Noe and Telly Hughes getting you set for Super Bowl 54 and talking about all kinds of other stuff going on here. Actually, I haven't even talked about the Super Bowl yet. So we will momentarily here, so it's not false advertising. But I just wanted to say this, Telly. I wanted to get your thoughts on it, where Edgerrin James, the former Colts running back, he's just been elected to the Pro Football Hall of Fame, one of the 5 players that got elected this evening. And I just thought about Tom Brady and Peyton Manning. Can we put that debate to bed officially for good? Like, never should it resurface again? Because for the longest, there were a lot of Team Peyton people out there. And Tom Brady never had the supporting cast that Peyton Manning had throughout his career. And yet, you've got Tom Brady with 6 rings, Peyton Manning with 2. I don't want that. You know how they, blow up a stadium? like an old stadium where they just wreck it and it just goes right down. That's what I want this argument to be. It should no longer resurface. What do you think about that?
Yeah, it's just, I mean, it's something to debate, and they were good quarterbacks in the same era. But I mean, the reality was most years when the Patriots would meet the Colts in the playoffs, the Colts season would come to an end, regardless of how good they had been during the regular season. So I think, like, it's tough to compare, someone that has won 6 rings in any sport to anyone other than someone that has won as many rings, because that's always going to be the equalizer. It's always, I mean, even if you look at like Jordan and Kobe, like people be like, well, Kobe wasn't Jordan and Jordan had 6, Kobe had 5. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I mean, so it's so tough. I mean, because with Brady, you're talking about someone who can arguably and easily go down as one of, or if not the greatest quarterback to ever play football. I mean, based off statistics. So, I mean, and you're being compared to that person, like, come on, that's tough.
It is tough. Yeah, and I think that sometimes it's unfortunate because the guy who has the lesser resume, it's still a distinguished resume.
Absolutely.
If it's LeBron versus Jordan, LeBron doesn't have Jordan's resume. That doesn't mean that LeBron's resume stinks. It's unbelievable, right?
Exactly.
Like, the same thing with Peyton Manning. He's got an unbelievable resume, but it's not as good as Tom Brady's resume.
Exactly.
But he's still, to your point, he's one of the greats. I wanted to get your thoughts on this, too, because earlier this week, Tom Brady, he channeled his inner LeBron James with a cryptic tweet where it was a player, and the player is sort of blacked out. It's a black and white picture, and we couldn't tell if the player was walking toward the field or away from the field. And so everyone's like, what does this mean? Does this mean he's coming back? Does it mean he's retiring? So forth and so on. Here's my stance, Telly.
Okay.
I hate cryptic stuff, okay? If it's LeBron and he's putting out the black swan flies east above the turquoise meadows, and it's like, dude, are you calling out Kevin Love or not? Just tell us what's going on, or confront the guy, whoever you have an issue with. Don't give me Archie's fist. Just tell me what's going on here. It's the same thing with Tom Brady. The one area where I'll leave the door cracked to say, all right, I get it. Is this some sort of business ploy by Tom Brady? Is he introducing a product? Is it something that has a payoff? If there's a payoff there, great. If you're just being passive-aggressive and cryptic, I'm like, get out of my face with that. That's where I stand.
Brian, I'm going to help you out on this one. Okay. And you don't even have to think about it that much. He's bored, man.
Okay.
He's used to playing around, this Sunday, so he's bored, man. He doesn't have anything else going on. He does, it's too early for him to start on his crazy off-season, wheat shakes that he would drink. And, like he's off balance, man. It's like, if you have too many days off in a row, after a while, you're going to be like, yo, man, this is weird. Like when I covered the Milwaukee Brewers for 7 seasons, and baseball is every day. If we had 2 days off in a row, it was like that second day, I didn't know what to do with my life because I'm so used to going to the ballpark every day at 3:15. And I think that's what Tom Brady is used to doing media around this time, getting tickets for family and doing all that stuff because he's about to play a game.
I like it, man. You're
this
onto
year,
something here.
He's not playing in a game. He doesn't have anything going on.
The Patriots, they played in 4 of the last 5 Super Bowls. So I think you're right. I think you're onto something. It's sort of like you can agree or you can relate to this when you're used to watching Monday Night Football every week, and it's that first week where it's gone. You're like, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
Now, so it started off where Tom Brady, he texted Jimmy Garoppolo early in the week. You could just picture Tom Brady, who's used to preparing for the Super Bowl. He's like, all right, I'll fire off a text to Jimmy G.
Yeah.
All right, what else do I do with my time? All right, cryptic tweet time. I think you're right. I think that's the explanation right there.
I'm telling you, man, dude just bored, man. I mean, because, yes, that's the right thing to do, but, I mean, let's not forget, I don't think there was any tears of sorrow when the Patriots traded Garoppolo. As a matter of fact, I think he was like, ooh, glad we got this dude out of here because he was about to take my job.
Oh, I agree with you there.
And so now, he's all of a sudden he really cares about if he wins tomorrow. Like,
pulling for you, man. Pulling for you, Jimmy G.
I got you out of here, man, but I did it for you. I didn't do it for me. I did it for you, man.
What were those reports where once Jimmy G was sent packing the next day at practice, Brady's just on cloud 9 and all that? Yeah. Who knows what the inner workings were.
He had his best practice of the season.
Yes. It's really spunky for some reason today. I'm Brian Noe. He's Telly Hughes. We're coming to you live from the Geico Fox Sports Radio studios. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com for a free rate quote. All right, Telly, so a little bit on the quarterbacks in Super Bowl 54. I was just thinking about this, and I'm not going to sit here and say that it's going to be fixed tomorrow because that's not what I believe. But it would be so much better for the NFL if Patrick Mahomes wins the Super Bowl tomorrow because this is how a lot of games are promoted. It's typically Brady and the Patriots take on Mahomes and the Chiefs. If Mahomes is a Super Bowl champion on the heels of maybe Breeze hangs him up. We don't know what team Tom Brady's going to play for this next season. He's certainly not going to be in the league that much longer. Phillip Rivers isn't a Charger anymore. So some of the big-time great quarterbacks that we've known for a long time, they're either going to be playing somewhere else or not playing much longer at all. So if you have this young gun in Patrick Mahomes, who is an unbelievable quarterback, former MVP, if he's got some jewelry on top of that, the NFL is going to get a whole lot more mileage out of that than Jimmy G, who's part of a collective effort where they've got the great pass rush, the great running game. There's more to it for the NFL to be gained if Mahomes wins.
Yeah, but, it would be all good. But, I mean, you're also going against, one of the most storied franchises. And, yes, it would be great if Patrick Mahomes, by the age of 24, to have an MVP and a Super Bowl championship ring or whatnot. But, you also got to look at, the story that it will, unveil if the 49ers, they're returning to glory. They're returning to a place that they have spent a lot of time at in terms of going to the Super Bowl. And so, but this is the new 49ers and, they got this young coach and they got a franchise quarterback and, John Lynch comes in with no experience and orchestrates this team that, is way ahead of schedule. A lot of people thought that the Niners would be good in a couple of years, not right now, especially the first season Garoppolo is coming off of his ACL injury. So, there are a lot of different storylines, but, there's no way that you can deny that, it wouldn't be a good thing if Patrick Mahomes could not win a Super Bowl championship for Kansas City and for Andy Reid, everybody's, lovable uncle, who doesn't want to see Andy Reid do well? So, there are a lot of factors that go into it, but if he's going to win it, I want him to just absolutely ball out. That's what I want him to do. I don't want it to be where, he just so happened to be the best player in a pedestrian type performance. If he's going to do it, I want a couple of those no-look passes. I want a left-hand pass. I want him and Tyreek Hill to just, throw bombs. I want it to look good and not just, they bring in Kansas City a Super Bowl, to the city or whatnot.
What's funny is I was just thinking about this with the NBA. We always hear this is, the NBA, they promote their stars, which is completely true. So does the NFL, but that's just not the perception. When you have a game that's promoted, if it's on Fox, CBS, whatever it is, they're promoting the stars, and typically that's the quarterback. And I haven't heard a game where it's like, hey, check out the Giants. Great special teams. Tune in this Sunday, right?
Exactly.
It's always the kingpin star players. The NFL does the same thing the NBA does, but it's thought to be that the NBA does something different than other leagues. It's not like that at all.
Yeah, you know what the NBA does? They don't wear helmets. And, there's so many of the NFL players, football players' identity is, you just really see them through a face mask. And then what did the NFL do to make sure they kept, only the people they wanted to promote in terms of building up the stars? And that is, let's make a rule where you will get penalized if you take off your helmet. That was the reason why a lot of players, when they scored, they would rip off their helmet because they wanted everybody to see them.
Uh-huh.
And so the NFL's like, no, you're not going to run our league. We'll make that a penalty, and we will have the faces of the people we want to promote. I mean, because that's the reason why you don't know how Stephon Gilmore looks, and he happens to be probably the best corner in the league.
Just look for the big eyebrows.
Yeah, and the dreads. Right. I mean, so I think that has a lot to do with from a marketing aspect. But yeah, the quarterbacks, it might be the most polarizing position in North American sports.
Oh, there's no doubt. Absolutely it is. Okay, coming up next from the Geico Studios. At the bottom of the hour, want to get to a couple of interesting nuggets about Jimmy G, the Niners quarterback, and the path that the Niners were on before Jimmy G became their quarterback. But also this, right after the break here, the anti-pit bull of the sports world. I want to hear what Telly has to say about this. I'm Brian Noe. He's Telly Hughes. Keep it locked right here on Fox Sports Radio.
This was set into motion in September. And now, we've got one game left. From the AFC, the Kansas City Chiefs. From the NFC, the San Francisco 49ers. Who will spike the Lombardi? The Super Bowl. Find out soon on Fox Sports Radio.
Doesn't it seem like things are always getting more expensive? Groceries, the rent, even utilities. Cost of living is up, but Allstate can help lower your cost of driving. With new lower auto rates, you get the same high-quality coverage and hands-on expertise from a local Allstate agent. Now, with new lower rates, you're in good hands with Allstate.
If you haven't quoted Allstate lately, it's the perfect time. Get a quote today. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Savings vary. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
36 days. That's how long it takes the average company to find their next hire. Glassdoor can help you quickly find the right job candidate in half the resumes. From 62 million job seekers, Glassdoor only matches you with qualified candidates who have the skills and experience your small business needs to grow. And Glassdoor hires are committed. They're 30% more likely to stay with your business longer. Go to glassdoor.com/hire. Glassdoor. Find the right fit for your business.
Guys, waking up over and over to pee is not okay. But now, you can reduce those nighttime bathroom trips with the ingredients in Super Beta Prostate P3 Advanced. We're talking about less urges to pee at night, less bathroom trips during the day, and better bladder emptying.
It's like taking 3 prostate supplements in one.
You can try a full 30-day bottle of P3 Advanced. Free.
Just pay shipping and handling.
No strings attached, no obligations, and no commitments to buy. This is a 30-day supply. Absolutely free.
Call 1-800-475-8256.
Super Beta Prostate is the best-selling brand in major retailers like Walmart. But for this no-strings-attached free bottle, you must call now.
Call 1-800-475-8256.
Don't miss out on this unprecedented free offer.
Call 1-800-475-8256. 1-800-475-8256.
You have to be up in 5 hours, 2 hours, 6 minutes. And when you hear, you realize that you haven't slept a wink. That's why there's ZzzQuil Pure Z's, a drug-free blend of botanicals with an optimal dose of melatonin, so you can fall asleep naturally with no next-day grogginess. It's available in both liquid and gummies, tastes great, and is non-habit forming. Pick up ZzzQuil Pure Z's from the sleep experts at Vicks ZzzQuil. ZzzQuil Pure Z's, naturally superior sleep. Available at retailers near you.
Bases loaded here at the top of the ninth. And the pitch. And it's out of here.
We deliver baseball caps, mitts, and everything you need to get ready for the game. But what you really get when FedEx knocks on your door is so much more.
FedEx Delivery.
Game day spirit. What we deliver by delivering.
I almost never go to Central Barbecue without running into somebody I know.
That could be because you only eat at Central Barbecue.
It's because Central Barbecue is where Memphians go to get barbecue and has consistently been voted the most popular barbecue restaurant among locals.
Actually, that's really saying something.
I know. Memphis is the nation's capital of barbecue. With all the choices, people who live here go to Central Barbecue.
They do get their share of tourists.
Sure, because Central Barbecue has been mentioned on TV and in tons of national publications. You know why?
Because of the great food?
Because those TV shows and magazines look for the place where the locals go, and that, my friend, is Central Barbecue.
Hi, this is Troy Five-Ash, owner of Five-Ash Roofing. It is that time of year where the weather is unpredictable, and given the recent storms, it's a good time to discuss insurance claims. So here's a few things you should know. Always hire a local contractor, because if you have a problem with your roof down the road, you want to be able to find him. Never allow anyone to pressure you into signing a contingency contract. They're used as sales tools, making you feel committed, and the truth is, those contracts are not worth the paper they're written on. Be careful of door-knocking salesmen. Some are reputable, but many are not. They canvass the neighborhood and tell everyone to file a claim, working their percentages and not caring if you file a claim even when they know the likelihood of it being approved is low. Some will even damage your roof hoping to convince the adjuster it's storm damage. That's fraud, and contractors have gone to jail for that. So do your research and know who you're hiring. Five-Ash Roofing, the official roof of the University of Memphis Athletic Department. Fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
If you've always thought, hey, I'd look pretty good in Lexus, well, guess what? Lexus thinks so too. Lexus is offering you the Golden Opportunity Sales Event. Great offers on all 2020 models and special lease options. Drive in luxury and confidence, knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by Lexus of Memphis, 2600 Ridgeway, and put yourself in the driver's seat of an all-new 2020 flagship LS500. Hey, you look pretty good there. Lexus Golden Opportunity Sales Event at Lexus of Memphis. Experience amazing.
If you ever need to listen to us,
what?
Just ask for us. Hey Siri, play Fox Sports Radio.
Hit us up. It's your turn to weigh in.
There you go.
Thanks for coming in and hanging out with us here on Fox Sports Radio.
It's that easy. We're Fox Sports Radio.
Fox Sports Radio.
I'm on a new level. I'm on a new level.
There's a lot going on here.
We're Fox Sports Radio.
It is amazing.
The sports talk you want. FS1.
Please me, baby.
One. To find FS1 on your television, go to foxsports.com for details. FS1.
Bundle home and auto with Farmers Insurance, and you could save an average of 20%. We know a thing or two about how to save a buck or two. Call 1-800-FARMERS to get a quote today.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Reported 2018 nationwide average savings underwritten by Farmers Preferred Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
I'm Brian Noe. He's Telly Hughes here on Fox Sports Radio. We're coming to you from the Geico Studios. Want to hear something amazing? Discover matches all the cash back you earn at the end of your first year automatically with no limit to how much we'll match. Millions of people a year are getting their cash back matched. Discover Cashback Match. What are you waiting for? Learn more at discover.com/cashbackmatch. By the way, what kind of music are you into, Telly?
Oh my gosh, I'm into a lot of music, man. I like R&B. I'm a self-proclaimed ratchet king. I love ratchet music. I love working out to ratchet music. I could do I could do a little country every now and again.
Country, okay.
Well, I mean, like Gary Clark Jr. I like him. I mean,
Did you see him on the Grammys? He had a good performance on the Grammys.
No, I did not see that.
Yeah,
I did not see that. Yeah. So I mean, I'm all over the place. What about you? What?
Oh gosh. Well, I'm glad you asked that, Telly, because I'm like you. I'm eclectic. I like a lot of different genres. My go-to genre, heavy metal. Love me some heavy metal. Yes, absolutely.
Who's your band? Slipknot?
No, it's Slipknot.
Slipknot.
Good Lord.
Slipknot.
I do. I like some.
They crazy, man, by the way.
They are crazy. Skipknot. Skipknot is nothing compared to the craziness of Slipknot.
Yeah.
I like them. I like some of their older stuff for sure, but I'm crazy. I love like Slayer, Lamb of God, that type of stuff. But I've played guitar for half my life, so a lot of it is based on
Well, it makes
that.
sense then, yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun to play that style of music, but I took classical guitar at school. That was my minor.
Wow.
And, rap, R&B, top 40. I'm all over the place in terms of genres. But do you have love for Pitbull at all?
Mr. 305.
That's right.
Man. Let's just say I'm not going to be rolling around bumping Pitbull anytime soon.
That's fair. I could understand why.
And
Mr.
he's not on
Worldwide.
any of my playlists, by the way. But
Not
he's
mine
cool.
either. Yeah, he's fine. But I was thinking about this because Pitbull, if you break him down as an artist, what area does he excel in? Nothing. He doesn't excel in anything. He's a mediocre rapper. He's a mediocre singer. He's a mediocre dancer. He's a mediocre entertainer. He's just mediocre all across the board, yet he's widely celebrated, right?
You know who else is like that and from the same place?
Who is that?
Flo Rida.
Really? Okay, yeah, I could see that.
Because they both were started off wanting to be these hardcore rappers, and then they were like, hey, I can make this bubblegum stuff, and I can be good and make a lot of money. And, they both went that way.
Yeah.
The apple bottom G's, just give me something catchy. That's the only thing Pitbull did is, give me something catchy. And, Mr. 305, he kind of coined that, and then bam, he's paid.
Yeah. And then you're good to go and widely popular. And I started thinking about that. In music, we love to celebrate mediocrity. And the list goes on and on. Think of Britney Spears, just on and on and on. Just mediocre, widely popular. We don't do that in sports,
No.
It's very rare we do that in sports. And so last week we did who was like the Pitbull of the sports world. I think it's Eli Manning. I think he's mediocre pretty much across the board, but a lot of people say, get him into the Hall of Fame there. I thought this week, who's the anti-Pitbull? It's Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook excels in numerous things, like effort level, attacking the basket, mid-range, defense, hustle. Like, he excels in numerous areas, all-around game, Mr. Triple-Double, right?
Yeah.
And yet, his deficiencies are constantly harped on. I think that Russell Westbrook is the anti-Pitbull of the sports world.
That is a good one. Yeah, because, no matter how well he does, you still can find something that you can but he's still...
He forced that 1 3-pointer.
Yeah. Boy, give me some time to think about that one because I want to come up with a good one. But the anti-Pitbull, oh, gosh. Oh, boy.
Maybe a quarterback. A quarterback would be a good one. If there might be a QB that excels in a certain area, but if he doesn't have the team success... You know how it goes. He might be. You know what? This isn't as great as Russell Westbrook, but LeBron suffers from this to a degree. There are a lot of overly negative LeBron James people, and he excels in numerous areas, right?
Yeah, you know what? I will say Jimmy Garoppolo.
Okay.
Because he doesn't do pretty much anything great, but you look up and he's in the top 5 and completion percentage and yards per attempt and all the main categories. He was the only one in the top 5 and 3 or 4 of them or something like that. And what does he excel in? Winning. You look at his record as a starting quarterback, it's phenomenal. He's 22-5 or something.
Yes,
You could hate on him as much as you want. Oh, he only threw the ball 4 times or 8 times or whatever. And, you hate on him, but who's going to be suiting up tomorrow?
It's going to be Jimmy G.
Jimmy G.
He's going to be right out there.
Yeah.
Now, also,
wait a minute. How about this? If Jimmy G wins tomorrow, won't he be the most unlikely 3-time Super Bowl champion of all time?
Yes, but you can't count that other stuff. Like, that's a technicality.
He was on the roster.
But he's holding the clipboard. We don't count clipboard rings.
Brian, you've held a few clipboards in your life, but you don't have a Super Bowl ring, do you?
No, I don't. I don't.
Okay.
But it's like Steve Young. He won one ring. We know he's won more than one ring, but he basically has one ring as the starter because that's all we really care about.
I mean, but I think when you say that, like, it's so funny to me because that doesn't apply to the backup linebacker. Because, the backup linebacker is, hey, he was at practice. He was running a scout team. He worked hard for his. Yep. He's part of the team. But if you the backup quarterback and you don't play, but you get a ring, they're like, well, you really didn't earn it.
Different standards. There's just different standard when it comes to that.
That's crazy, though, when you think about it, though, right?
It is.
Because if something happened to the starting quarterback, you would have instantaneously become the most important player in that stadium. The most important person, not player, person.
It's true. It's absolutely true. And it is. It's funny how there's a different criteria, different reaction when it comes to those. But, yeah, as far as starting QBs, if you win a ring as a backup, we don't really count that. It might be in your underwear drawer or you actually have the bling. You could sell it if you want. It's a real thing. But, not when we're talking about who did what quarterback-wise, We can't count those other two.
But when it all is said and done, Jimmy Garoppolo will be a 3-time Super Bowl champion if he wins tomorrow.
Yeah.
And when you write his story, you got to include it. You're not going to say 3-time Super Bowl champion, but the first two wasn't real.
I will. That's what I'll say. They don't really count.
I'm just saying, I mean, look at Steve Kerr, play career as well as, his coaching career. I mean, he probably has a combined 9 rings now, 10 rings.
Wow.
So you can't say, well, he didn't earn all of them. I mean,
because it was how many in playing? 5 or 6?
I think it was 6 when he was playing.
I think it was 6, yeah.
Yeah, because I know he got 3 with the Bulls and
few with the Spurs.
Few with the Spurs, and so he at least has 5.
By the way, I wanted to mention this while we were talking about Russell Westbrook. He paid tribute to Kobe Bryant on Instagram today. In a portion of what he posted, he wrote, "I've been stuck in not really knowing how to put all that I've been feeling into words over the past several days. I am devastated about the passing of Kobe and Gigi on every level. I met Kobe when I was 16 at UCLA, playing against him in a pickup game. He played like it was the NBA Finals. From that point on, I decided that I wanted to emulate his Mamba mentality." And he had many more nice things to say in this post. But it's just the reach of Kobe. It's crazy. I realized how widespread it was, but I didn't realize it was like this. It's like worldwide type reach here.
And it's funny when it was not funny. It's something that you see all the time, especially immediately after someone passes. They only talk about, the great things about them. And that's, it's respecting that person's life and their legacy, but I have been really floored because there was a time where Kobe wasn't considered a very nice guy. He was, there was a stretch where he was kind of the Barry Bonds in terms of how he dealt with the media, a guy that was at, such an elevated level, but had a disdain for the media. And for him to, from what I have seen over this past week, I mean, how many pictures? If a guy is that bad or antisocial, he sure did take a lot of pictures with a lot of people.
That's true.
You know what I mean? And and the countless of stories. I mean, Kobe even, reached me. I did a one-on-one with Kobe his final season in the NBA, his final trip into Milwaukee. And this was the second of a back-to-back. They played the Bulls the previous night, which going into that game, I was thinking there's no way he's going to do this interview. He's going to be tired. He's not going to feel like it. And he walked in and did a one-on-one with me and was very gracious. And, you know, it was well thought out. It wasn't like, I'll just say anything. And, you know, he respected my time. I respected his. And I'm just, you know, just one of many, it seems like thousands of people that have stories of how he had, you know, touched them in whatever sort of way. So, I mean, his reach is just unbelievable, man, because, you know, like the more video that comes out, the more pictures and, you know, people posting and, you know, just seeing him and him being out and taking time to pose with, you know, someone's family and someone's, you know, baby. And I mean, his reach was just incredible.
Yeah. And it's a good reminder of sometimes a reputation isn't completely accurate. You need to get to know people on your own instead of just go by the reputation.
Exactly.
Because think of Melo. Think of Carmelo Anthony when he was out of basketball for a year. His reputation wasn't that great. You know, and that was with the Blazers, and it's completely changed.
Yeah.
It's like maybe that reputation wasn't completely on point. There was a story I read today about Nick Bosa with the San Francisco 49ers. And before he got drafted, you remember this, Telly, where he's a Trump supporter. And the thought was, hey, is this going to work in San Francisco? And his teammates were like, yeah, we got to know him. He might have liked a couple of posts. He might have tweeted something out there, but we wanted to get to know him instead of just what's been reported. So it's important to do that. If you're able to, not everybody had access to Kobe, but it's a reminder of maybe the general consensus. It's not quite the reality, and you should be reluctant to embrace it as if it is.
Yeah. And you know, it's just I mean, you really look at the you know, the entire, you know, landscape of it, and I mean, it's phenomenal, and you don't understand sometimes the impact you have on people's lives until, you know, something, you know, like this happens, you know, where you do get an opportunity to reflect on all the good this person had done. And, you know, you could just only hope that you know, leave this world a better place like Kobe did and just had the effect that he did on so many people.
Absolutely. No doubt about that. On a different scale in terms of leaving each hour better, in terms of the sports radio airwaves, Steve DeSager does that. And he's here to spin us around. No pressure, Steve. It's going to be a good update.
I'll just assume you're going for a good segue there, like any fine radio host. So for that, thank you. But really. By the way, I'm glad you referenced those pickup games in the summers at UCLA. Those are legendary, going back to Magic Johnson and some of his Showtime teammates. Steve Kerr's from L.A. He used to play in those. You goes back to Reggie Miller and, I mean, Durant, Westbrook now, and recently Terrell Owens used to play in those, or Garnett, or Weber, or Paul Pierce, who's from L.A. I walked years ago, walked into UCLA's Pauley Pavilion during a summer, and there's Magic Johnson in one of these pickup games. Absolutely.
Did you call next, Steve? No. Were you like, I got next?
I kept walking.
Okay.
Kept walking onto the football field. I had an interview to do. On to the Super Bowl tomorrow on Fox TV, and on to the Hall of Fame. Yeah, for Troy Polamalu. That was pretty much the guarantee for tonight. The other four that are in this year's class of the Hall, and I should say the modern era class, because as we've talked about on the show, there are, 125 people getting into Hall
Don't
of
get me
Fame
started, Steve. Do not get me started.
Don't get you or Dion started on that, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's 100th anniversary of the league, so let's just make it a 100-man class. How about that? Let's just call them all Hall of Famers. Anyway, Troy Polamalu is in. Safety Steve Atwater as well. Wide receiver Isaac Bruce, guard Steve Hutchinson, and running back Edgerrin James in the Hall. Quarterback Lamar Jackson of the Ravens was a unanimous NFL MVP. The Defensive Player of the Year for 2019 was Patriots defensive back Stephon Gilmore. The NFL's Comeback Player of the Year, Titans quarterback Ryan Tannehill edging out Jimmy Garoppolo 16 votes to 15.
Wow.
The Walter Payton Man of the Year, Jacksonville defensive end Calais Campbell. The Art Rooney Sportsmanship Award went to Washington running back Adrian Peterson. To college hoops, number 1 Baylor won its 18th straight game beating TCU. Number 2 Gonzaga won by 4 at San Francisco. Third-ranked Kansas won by 3 over Texas Tech. And coming up at the top of the hour, the only undefeated left, number 4 San Diego State 22-0 hosts Utah State. Florida State and Louisville each got wins, Dayton as well. Creighton won at number 8 Villanova. Number 9 Duke is in action right now and leading at Syracuse 59-47 with about 12 and a half minutes left. It was Xavier winning at number 10 Seton Hall. Stanford beat number 11 Oregon. Auburn over Kentucky. Wisconsin beat number 14 Michigan State. Providence won at number 16 Butler. Cincinnati defeated number 21 Houston. Tulsa on a three-pointer at the buzzer. Edge number 23 Wichita State 54-51. Tulsa is now alone in first in the American Conference. And at Madison Square Garden, Michigan beat number 25 Rutgers. To the NBA, the Clippers sent Minnesota to an 11th straight loss, 118-106. Kawhi Leonard 31 points. The Knicks and Miami each won on the road. Right now at Boston, under 3 minutes to go in the first half, it's the Celtics over Philadelphia, 53-41, and the Celtics' Kemba Walker is out at least 2 games with a sore knee. Also in the NBA, the Golden State Warriors are leading big late third quarter now at Cleveland, 99-76, trying to end a 5-game losing streak. For the moment, the Warriors 10-39 this season. Nets leading 77-75 at Washington late in the third quarter, and halftime at Dallas, Mavs over the Hawks, 62-49. And I read this about last night's Dallas game. They lost at Houston, and the Rockets became the first NBA team to play an entire game without a player taller than 6'6". Since the 1963 Knicks.
Oh, wow.
You are going back into another. I remember the 1964 UCLA team is known for not having a starter taller than 6'5", and they went undefeated for the year, beat Duke in the national championship game. You'd have to go back to that era of basketball to do what D'Antoni's doing with his Rockets roster. Now, granted, his center is out, but may still be out for a few more games, Clint Capella, the way the foot injury has gone. So, this includes not only starters, just off the bench. Nobody got in the game for the Rockets taller than 6'6". And this is with the opposing team having 7'3" Kristaps Porzingis. He had 35 points, but he only made 4 threes, but he could have gone to town against them. Yeah.
So there was no G Leaguers over 6'5" that could have come in, and
I think D'Antoni's more comfortable. Okay, then we can put up 53s tonight.
Yeah.
I saw near the end of that game, Porzingis finished against Westbrook. Westbrook was trying to D him up, and this is like on the block. And there was an end one. Yeah, it's like, why don't you just keep doing that?
He had to channel his inner Patrick Beverly on that.
Yeah.
Steve, got a quick question for you. Do you think that the NFL should adopt a format for the Hall of Fame to have elections or inductions into the Hall of Fame bi-yearly? Because sometimes I think that voters feel like there's a pressure. We got to put somebody in there. And I think that's why you get some of the questionable ones. But I think if you did it every other year, I think you'd have like some solid classes, man. What do you think?
And there are also different titles of how people get in. The 5 named tonight, of course, those are ex-players, but there are also contributors, right? There's coaches, there's I don't know, can you combine some of those other categories? But also sometimes there is a backup. Among those eligible next year, it's Peyton Manning, Charles Woodson, Calvin Johnson, Jared Allen, on down the line. So we've got a few, I think, that we already know are in next year's class, and then others that just haven't gotten in yet, even after this year's class of 120. But yes, I think that as long as you don't have a set number, kind of like what they do for the Oscar Best Picture, if there aren't 10, fine. Then 10 films aren't nominated. Great.
Yeah, exactly.
Keep it like that.
Keep it moving.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. We're coming to you live from the Geico Fox Sports Radio studios. It's easy to save 15% or more on car insurance with Geico. Go to geico.com or call 800-947-AUTO. The only hard part, figuring out which way is easier. All right, coming up next from the Geico studios, I owe you a nugget about Jimmy G. This is a good nugget here, Telly. I don't want to oversell this nugget, but it's a solid nugget.
Okay.
And also, I cannot believe a certain NFL head coach, a story that was uncovered earlier this week. I can't believe what a certain head coach in the NFL is not doing that story on the way as well. I'm Brian Noe. He is Telly Hughes. This is Fox Sports Radio.
Go! During the big game.
Let's go! Get him going!
Interact with us on social media.
You have to do it!
You can find us on Instagram and on Twitter by searching Fox Sports Radio. Fox Sports Radio. That's Fox Sports Radio on Instagram and Twitter.
I'm Chris Riccobono, founder of Untuck It. I started Untuck It because, like a lot of other guys, I just couldn't find a shirt that looked great untucked. That's why we created the perfect untucked shirt with that just right length. We have over 50 fits for all shapes and sizes, so you can look sharp even at your most casual. Try the original Untucked shirt at one of 85 Untuck It stores worldwide or at untuckit.com. Untuck It, shirts designed to be worn untucked.
Use promo code WINTER for 20% off your first purchase. That's promo code WINTER.
Doesn't it seem like things are always getting more expensive? Groceries, the rent, even utilities. Cost of living is up, but Allstate can help lower your cost of driving. With new lower auto rates, you get the same high-quality coverage and hands-on expertise from a local Allstate agent. Now, with new lower rates, you're in good hands with Allstate.
If you haven't quoted Allstate lately, it's the perfect time. Get a quote today. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Savings vary. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook.
Is your wife asking you to stop eating junk food? Well, we have you covered at Humdinger's. It's quick and it's healthy, and most important, it tastes amazing. With many choices from salmon salad to rainbow trout and grilled asparagus. Come visit us for lunch at Humdinger's, 6300 Poplar Avenue. So good, Coach Penny eats with us weekly. Don't forget, Humdinger's offers full-service catering for weddings, social events, or your corporate lunches. You can call 901-260-8292 to find out more.
Hi, I'm Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. Do you have any idea why I never speak the way I am right now? It's because if you're honest, sincere, and knowledgeable, you do not need fast-talking, high-energy, gimmick-promising advertising to get a customer's attention. Speaking of that, how do you think companies can offer huge rebates and giveaways when you use their services or buy their products? By overcharging you in the first place, that's how. Fiveash Roofing doesn't operate that way. It's misleading and dishonest. When I provide a customer with the best products and the best service possible and do it at a fair price, why would I need gimmicks to sell it? Best products, best warranties, and best service possible. That's all we offer. Well, that and financing. Fiveash Roofing, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Memphis Tigers home team. Fiveash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
At Victory Auto Sales, that's victoryauto.org. We always ask our customers what they want most in a used car.
I want a car that runs when I turn the key. Don't want my appointment over there just waiting on me. Buddy. Throw away the cable. You'll never be late with one of our cars because they are just darn great. I want a car that runs down the road, that doesn't leave me stranded while it's getting towed. I want brakes on my car so I can stop when I'm driving too fast and when I see a cop.
They want a car that starts. They want a car that runs. They want a car that stops. Victory Auto Sales, 901-380-5800. That's victoryauto.org. Check us out. We are at 4885 Elmore, just off Covington Pike. In-house financing, of course. Generous credit approval. Of course. Don't forget to ask about our layaway. That's victoryauto.org, 901-380-5800. Fill out the credit app online or come by or give us a call, 901-380-5800.
If you've always thought, hey, I'd look pretty good in Lexus, well, guess what? Lexus thinks so too. Lexus is offering you the Golden Opportunity Sales Event. Great offers on all 2020 models and special lease options. Drive in luxury and confidence, knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by Lexus of Memphis, 2600 Ridgeway, and put yourself in the driver's seat of an all-new 2020 flagship LS500. Hey, you look pretty good there. Lexus Golden Opportunity Sales Event at Lexus of Memphis. Experience amazing.
You're scrambling around. You need a haircut. Where you gonna go? I got a place that has 15 locations. I've got a place where details matter. I've got a place that can be invigorating and relaxing at the same time. You know what it is. It's Supercuts. Every haircut ends with the signature hot towel finish. Every haircut matters. When you're getting ready, you go into Supercuts. The stylist will pay attention to every detail. So you get the haircut you want, and of course, You're going to finish with that signature hot towel. You walk out clean, sharp, and not just ready, but super ready. And you might want to ask that hairstylist about what the tea tree experience is. One part invigorating, one part relaxing. The tea tree experience is something you need to try. 15 locations. I mentioned that, didn't I? All you've got to do is go to supercuts.com. You'll find the one nearest to you. Get super ready at Supercuts.
If you don't know us by now, first question. How is that possible? We're a fun-loving sports network. We give you insight.
This story is something I absolutely love.
We give you hot takes.
This is an insane hot take.
We give you the sports and information you need.
It's fun. It's the best.
As Biggie once said, if you don't know, now you know.
And if you don't know, now you know.
We're Fox Sports Radio.
This is
FS1. To find FS1 on your television, go to foxsports.com for details. FS1.
Bundle home and auto with Farmers Insurance, and you could save an average of 20%. We know a thing or two about how to save a buck or two. Call 1-800-FARMERS to get a quote today.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Reported 2018 nationwide average savings underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
I'm Brian Noe. He's Telly Hughes here on Fox Sports Radio. We're coming to you from the Geico Studios. I've got a nugget about Jimmy G for you here. Telly, you ready for this?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
So this goes back to the 2017 season. And the plan was for the 49ers, they had their sights set on Kirk Cousins because Kyle Shanahan was the offensive coordinator over there in Washington, and they thought that they could get their hands on Kirk Cousins when he became a free agent in the offseason. And so you fast forward through that draft, you go forward, and then in the 2018 season, Bill Belichick calls him up right before the trade deadline, and he was like, hey, you want Jimmy G? You up for a deal here? We need a second-round pick. And so it was John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan. They had a meeting. They talked for about 10 minutes. And instead of waiting until the offseason where they thought they were going to have a good chance to get Kirk Cousins, they're like, yeah, let's just go with Jimmy G. It took 10 minutes for them to change their whole course as far as a franchise because they didn't know if they were going to get Kirk Cousins. It wasn't a for sure thing. And then also what's interesting is that 2017 NFL draft, the 49ers, they had a chance to draft Patrick Mahomes. They had the number 2 overall pick. They slid down to number 3 overall. They went with Solomon Thomas. And the thinking was, Kyle Shanahan said they didn't want to gamble that much. It was too big of a gamble to take Mahomes that high when they still thought they had a good chance of landing Kirk Cousins. So it's crazy if you think of those 3 quarterbacks, Kirk Cousins not going to San Fran, Jimmy G going to San Fran, and kicked around the idea of going with Mahomes but thought it was too big of a gamble.
Isn't that something? And not only, let's add that he gets hurt, and then they sign him to a $147-something million contract. Crazy. And, and he had maybe 6 starts in his total career. So for them to have that much trust, that much, belief that he was going to be the franchise quarterback to lead them back to their glory days and for it to just come to fruition. But that also goes to show, sometimes the best deals that could be made are the ones that you don't make. And a lot of people, especially around the NBA trade deadline, you'll hear a lot of people say that. The best deals that you can make are the ones that you don't because, sometimes you'll think all right, I can get this guy and he'll help me and this, that, and the other. And then, it may not work out. And then what happens?
Yeah.
You can't go back and be like, hey, man, here's the receipt. Can we get our draft picks back or can we get that guy back? Getting with a guy that, you identify a guy that you really believe in and you will pretty much risk your job. Because if Jimmy G doesn't work out in San Fran, John Lynch would get lynched.
Oh, man, it would have been crazy, right? And I guess going back to it, they went with Jimmy G, and he had, I think it was 5 starts at the end of that season. And they still, if it didn't work out, it cost them a second-round pick. You're not in the business of just setting second-round picks on fire, right? But they went in with Jimmy G, and it didn't cost you like 3 first-round picks where you're just tied to the hip with this guy. And so they could have, if Jimmy G crashed and burned, they could have set their sights on Kirk Cousins. So they did have a fallback plan. But how crazy was that where Jimmy G played well enough where they're like, we're going with him. He's our guy. We're not thinking about Kirk Cousins.
I mean, but that also goes to show, Brian, what they saw in the limited amount of film and what they believed or, what their sources had told them. And just, seeing how he, interacted on a daily basis. And, I mean, he must be a very impressive guy for them to just look at him and say, all right, we're about to get this dude a boatload of money and he's going to be our guy for the next 10 years. Like, I mean, for you to just say that and, to be able to identify it and like you said, in the 10 minutes that it probably took for them to say, okay, this is how we're going to roll. Like, that's something, man.
Yeah. And
a little luck involved, too.
Sure, no doubt. But I think, what would Kirk Cousins' reputation be like today if he was the guy in San Francisco?
The same as it is now, because he wouldn't be playing tomorrow. Kirk Cousins is the luckiest dude. Oh, my gosh, man. Come on.
He would have prevented this run by the 49ers, huh? Okay. And how about this, real quick? It's funny how we play follow the leader with the NFL draft. Like, for months, we just get conditioned to thinking, like, backtrack to Patrick Mahomes in 2017. His name wasn't hot enough for, him to be a second overall or third overall pick. If he was, people would have flipped out,
Yeah.
His name wasn't that hot, but it probably would have turned out to be the best pick they could have made. It just, we weren't thinking like that.
Okay, let's go ahead and do the redraft of 2017.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think the former Heisman Trophy winning Lamar Jackson wouldn't get picked until number 30.
Well, he was the last. That was the next year.
Yeah,
so
yes, the next year. Yes,
it was Mahomes and Deshaun Watson. Deshaun would have gone much higher than 12th.
I think there's a few people, maybe just a few in Chicago that wouldn't have mind seeing Deshaun Watson wearing a Bears uniform.
I think it's interesting. Where would Mitchell Trubisky have gone based on what we know now? What round?
It
a lot
wouldn't
lower
have been the
than
first.
number 2 overall. I'll tell you that much. Oh my gosh. Yeah, much lower than that. We'll get to this also in the next hour here. Mike McCarthy is the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. And there was something that Jalen Smith, he's a linebacker over there with Dallas, he mentioned it on The Herd this week. It was just a small comment, but I think there's waves to it. And we'll get to that at the top of the next hour. Also it is the perfect recipe for unfair criticism for a certain player. So we got lots to do. I got to get your blood type coming up in the next hour, Telly. I want the in-depth story of how you got your name, so we'll do all of that right around the corner. I'm Brian Noe. He's Telly Hughes. Keep it locked right here. Super Bowl Eve, Fox Sports Radio.
We are Fox Sports!
Let's talk about Daniel. A year ago, he resolved to stop putting off what he wanted to do. Get into information technology. Daniel enrolled in My Computer Career and is now already a few months into his IT career. Make 2020 your year. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. You could start your new life as an IT pro in as little as 4 months. Classes meet on campus or live online just 2 times a week. It's not rocket science. It's My Computer Career. mycomputercareer.edu.
When Allstate agents and employees go to work every day, their number one priority is protecting what matters most to you. For military veterans, that instinct to protect also comes naturally. No wonder thousands of veterans build good careers with Allstate. And now, Allstate is ranked the number 1 employer on the 2020 Military Friendly Employers list. You're in good hands with Allstate.
For career opportunities or to get a quote, contact Allstate today. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook.
seats are amazing.
Shoot it!
We deliver tickets, team merchandise, and everything you need to get ready for the game. But what you really get when FedEx knocks on your door is so much more.
FedEx Delivery.
Game day spirit. What we deliver by delivering.
One thing I really admire about Central Barbecue is their commitment to quality.
Then why do they let you do their commercials?
I'm talking about their food. Everything is prepared with devotion to taking the time and effort to create perfect barbecue.
Oh, I know. That's exactly why I was wondering why...
They're not kidding with that slow-smoked Memphis-style slogan. They smoke their pork for 14 hours. Do they have to? They do if they want to be the best barbecue in Memphis, and they are.
And yet they let you just throw together...
There's nothing better than Central Barbecue because they care.
Except apparently about their radio ads.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kristen Bell, and I invited you here to my hotel room to talk about your cheeks. Your big, beautiful cheeks. Get your mind out of the gutter. I'm talking about swabbing them. Did you guys know that each year 20,000 Americans with blood cancer are searching for their life-saving marrow match? Can you even believe that? I mean, people need marrow, you guys, and we have it. So here's how we can help. It's really, really simple. All you have to do is swab your cheek, this cheek. Then go to Gift of Life Marrow Registry. It's so easy, anyone can do it. And in case you're wondering, if you're a match, donating, it's a lot easier than you think. So wherever you are, go ahead and swab that cheek. Go to giftoflife.org and get a free kit sent to your home, or find a donor drive in your area so that you can swab a cheek and save a life. It's only a minute of your time, but it can give someone else the rest of their life.
Hannah complained of a headache. It was a rhabdomyosarcoma. Within a few days, Hannah was in treatment because we were told that the tumor was very aggressive. And it very quickly became clear that St. Jude was the ultimate place to be. So we've essentially put our lives in South Africa on hold. Incredibly blessed to be here. St. Jude is an asset to the world. And the research that is developed here is offered freely to the rest of the medical world. The entire way that the place operates is just to give and to care. I think it's the kind of place that not only stands as a beacon for pediatric cancer, but I think it could teach the world a couple of lessons about how to treat people. And I think if those lessons could be learned, even in their most basic form, this world could be a better place.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Hey, remember that one? That was big in the 60s, back when gas was like 30 cents a gallon, a house 22 grand, cigarettes $0.25 a pack. But the packs came with a warning from the U.S. Surgeon General. Cigarette smoking causes lung cancer. Hey, it proved to be right. Music's changed, and so have prices. Gas is almost $3 a gallon. A decent house costs $250,000, and a pack of cigarettes is about $5. But now, there's another cancer warning from the U.S. Surgeon General. Radon causes lung cancer, and radon can cause lung cancer whether you smoke or not. Radon is an invisible, odorless gas that seeps into your home from underground. The only way to know if you have high levels of radon in your home is to have your home tested. The U.S. Surgeon General recommends it. Radon problems can be fixed. To learn more, call 1-800-SOS-RADON, 1-800-SOS-RADON, or click on epa.gov/radon from this station and the U.S. EPA.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Sundays and Mondays are special at the Butcher Shop, celebrating
Shotgun snap, Garoppolo back. He's looking, he's pressured. Garoppolo rolling to his right. He's looking, fires, end zone. It is caught. Touchdown, San Francisco. George Kittle in the end zone, and the Niners are back in front. A 7-yard touchdown throw to George Kittle.
The road to Super Bowl 54 is on. Westwood 1.
Williams gets the carry. Williams up the middle, cuts one step to the left, gets to the goal line, in for the touchdown. Kansas City continues to amaze. That's 40 consecutive points scored by the Kansas City Chiefs, who now lead 40-24.
Now, here's your host, Scott Graham.
Coming up on tonight's show, Paul Rudd is back, and he told us the worst-kept secret in the NFL this year.
You might be asking yourselves, well, where are the other contenders? Here's the thing. For only the second time in history, there was just one person that this year everyone voted for. It was the same person. It's pretty incredible. In fact, it's LaMarvelous. So congratulations to this year's most valuable player, Lamar Jackson.
And Isaac Bruce is a Hall of Famer who believes that turnabout is fair play.